said we were here for an unforgettable scene. We're doing a tailoring exercise.
You're unmuted, by the way.
Yeah. I thought we were doing a bit. I thought you were doing a whole steamed hams bit here, Brie.
Yeah, but I said the first line just before I'm muting, so
wow,
I could capture reactions.
Rude. Said it in this Principal Skinner voice, intonation, and everything. I have been played. Whoa is Keith.
So yeah, how's everyone doing?
Well, I was doing okay until my GM tricked me. Unforgivable.
I am amused and I have snacks for this show.
Damn, I forgot snack.
We don't really have any good snacks left. Oh well. I'm here anyway.
Hi, everyone.
How's everyone doing?
Doing great.
Wait, did I already say
We're all
that?
doing good. You did, yeah. Speed and
Nice,
chat how they're doing. We're playing Gwilym Moonlight. It's our third session, and stuff is all going very wrong for all of us. It's great.
Yep. There we
What
go.
do you mean? You were doing fine.
I completely forgot to add music to the starting soon screen. It has music now. It's me because we'll be switching over to the main screen in a second, but it's the thought that counts. Anyway, my experience from the last VOD was it basically got copy struck and then all of the copy strikes got withdrawn almost immediately.
Oh, okay.
Huh.
So it'll be nice to have something in the old inbox.
Typical.
Yeah. I suppose there's no reason not to... Oh. Wrong screen. No one needs to see me going goblin mode. So yeah, it's been a month since the last session, so who wants to recap?
I can do a bit of a quick recap. One.
Okay.
I'm struggling to remember whose dream it was we jumped into, but I remember the nature of the dream.
It was Phil.
It was Phil's dream, yes. Phil, who was a member of the fishing club.
Yes.
And might have been
President of, actually, I think.
president of the fishing club. My bad. Who was harboring some feelings of guilt over the death we saw in the first episode of the season. We went into Phil's dream, and it was mainly concerning a infinite pier and a giant shark. Which might have been the manifestation of another person in real world. Who knows? We know I haven't, because we found out during the rest of that session. Over the course of that session, we managed to talk some motivation into Phil, but not at no cost. Emphasis character Carys has gone into Eclipse, which is not the best state to be in.
Everything is fine. All going according to Kikaku. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and as a direct result of finding out about Chris's involvement in Phil's dream, Chris now knows that we're on his tail, which is a concern for Miracle, because Chris is one of his, Miracle's ex's friends. Which, makes things messy.
Indeed. And of course, in the Fallout phase, a member of the conspiracy moved against you. So let's start with you, Keith. Could you just remind everyone who your character is?
I'm playing Miracle Harbour, the tragic genius, Oracle of the Dream, and the Stranger.
Okay. And freshly into Eclipse, who are you playing, Enfys?
Oh, pardon me, sorry. That was gassy. I am playing Carys Gwilym. I was severely overworked and incredibly cynical and tired student who has the avatar of EnfysPranc. Very eldritch sort of time adjacent being.
Okay, and last but not least, know this. Who are you playing?
Tern Welkin, ex-member of the conspiracy. Former marine biology major, and switching to, I think, photography. Just kind of trying to figure out who he is still, I guess.
Indeed. Okay, so obviously, as we already mentioned, Carys fell into Eclipse at the end of last session. So, Eclipse is basically... So, obviously this is games based on Blades in the Dark. When a character in Blades maxed out their stress, they basically sort of left the game for a bit and came back with a trauma, which is basically just an added role-playing thing. But Girl by Moonlight obviously does that a bit differently. So, your character is now in Eclipse, so she's burning stress backwards. And, of course, if she uses up all the stress in her... Well, burns out all the stress backwards in her bar, basically the character's retired. Depending on the situation, she might turn evil, she might just die, or she might just get burnt out and just not be particularly interesting anymore. So, Enfys, could you... your playbook should actually have a section marked Eclipse, so can you just read that out since it's been a while?
I have known all along that changing fate was impossible, and yet here I am. So much wasted effort, wasted time. If this fate was inevitable, why not embrace it? I'll set aside all caution for instinct and pursue a direct course of action, heedless of consequence.
So yeah, Eclipse is basically a given character's sort of heal arc. Well, not really heal arc, but they're basically their worst self, and yeah, maybe obviously you get role-playing XP if you do that. Well, you get role-playing XP for your Eclipse state anyway, but obviously it's something you're sort of encouraged to play up.
Yep.
And also, how's your character come out of Eclipse? Because that should also be on your playbook.
When my fated person defies my predictions and shows that they can alter the course of fate, change either my fated person or the fate of both. So to be changing their fate, should we do that? But in order to do that, they have to defy my prediction, show me that you can alter fate. How that's going to manifest, I'm not entirely sure just yet. Something we're going to have to work out together.
Probably help to know what your current prediction is, then.
Yeah.
Okay, the questions we settled on, which is what I'm basically drawing my presumptions for this for, was the forgotten promise to Tern, being that I'll be there for you, whether the problems in our dreams or our mundane lives, because Tern is a very isolationist. Things get tough, they retreat into themselves. Is the impression I've got anyway. Notice, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely certain that that's supposed to be part of his character, but it might be by accident because it might be how I am.
It's the impression that I've gotten. We can amend it on the move if need be. The paradoxical promise to Miracle, it was that nobody would be sacrificed, that we would find another way. You know, nobody sort of a no man left behind, and we're not going to trade one life for another sort of deal. Which in particular stands out to me because in the last session, one of the first things that Tern did was run off on their lonesome.
Yep.
To 1v1 Chris.
No,
Effectively,
1v1, kind of, I guess.
we couldn't help you out there. We didn't know what was going on. You was on your lonesome. You certainly were from Carys's perspective.
Fun thing about this... Oh, sorry.
No, on.
The fun thing about the promise of nobody sacrificing himself is one of the promises that the Guardian has to take is defined as the promise of martyrdom. And that's the promise that Tern has attached to Carys.
I mean, I did say it's paradoxical. It all fits.
Yep.
Yeah, and then Miracle also went out of our form and flew out to like an emerging ship again, lonesome. And Carys was kind of trapped between everybody, being like, "Okay, where do I go? Who do I help? How do I?" Like it was effectively a "I'm giving somebody up here" sort of situation. So, yeah, that's where we're at.
Yep. Depending on how badly things go, Carys might end up being retired as a character.
Yep.
And just on that stairs % run.
In any case, in the Fallout phase of the last session, the conspiracy moved against you, and Miracle got a text from her situationship. Want to tell us a bit more about that, Keith?
Okay, yeah, so Miracle is doing her double master's degree at the moment, and in the second year of it. At the end of her bachelor degree and first year of master, she was dating another architecture student named Brayden. They were both bookish sorts that kind of did all the work and didn't do the whole socializing side of things. And yeah, they, I guess, technically dated for a while, but it was not exactly something either of them were particularly suited for. Presumably, what happened during this off-screen season 1 stuff is Brayden was an unwitting part of the conspiracy, and that's sort of put a damper on the whole relationship thing, and Brayden probably doesn't know exactly the whole ins and outs of it himself. But, you know, Miracle does, and has been keeping distance from him for the past year or so.
Well, I believe your playbook actually has a special ability, which means you always roll stars, regardless of for an obligation, regardless. So,
I do.
Yep. Roll your obligation. Let's see how much stress you begin with. For those keeping track at home, the default is 6, and this roll is going to be deducted from it.
I did hit the stars button, but it didn't pop up. Oh, there it is. Macro options, bonus size 0.
Okay. 6. You don't start with any stress. So yeah, I guess Brayden sort of texts you, and you have to sit through a very awkward, you know, that sort of scene in the first Raimi Spider-Man movie where Osborn sort of come round to Peter Parker's aunts for dinner, and he just sort of sees the cuss and realises that Peter's Spider-Man, and they just sort of have that weird dynamic going on. Basically, you and Chris are sort of staring at each other while Brayden's sort of, you know, just trying to get basically who he considers his sort of partner at the moment, and his friend get along. But you, I guess you don't.
it probably wasn't the best idea for either of them to pick a cinema as a place to try doing this whole group shared activity thing, but because that means I can just focus on watching the movie instead.
Oh, yeah.
And we've got Braden in between me and Chris watching this movie. No, I'm just enjoying the movie at this juncture, or at least I'm trying to, whilst presumably my avatar is currently glaring daggers in the ephemeral space between worlds at Chris, but also probably at Braden as well. But I'm trying to relax for once. I'm enjoying this movie.
Yeah.
They didn't film it in Vancouver for once. They've got some different architecture. It's great.
And now we've established this world has a Vancouver.
Whatever the equivalent of Vancouver is in the setting, wherever they film all the urban scenes.
Yeah, it can be a Vancouver.
Wherever they need a skyline or some type of urban sprawl, it's like, yes, Vancouver.
Yeah, and after the movie, Tomorrow Yearns does Tomorrow Yearns just sort of literally speak to you, or is it more like a sort of vibes deal?
Most of the time, it seems to just be a complete split between Miracle and Tomorrow. The way I'm kind of playing it is that when Tomorrow's in control, Miracle's very much not, and they have very distinct kind of fire and ice personalities.
Okay,
so maybe they leave notes for each other.
Okay, yeah. Basically, afterwards, you sort of ride home on the subway, and sort of you find yourself suddenly at your stop, and you have a small note in your hand, basically says this Chris has a shark floating over his shoulder. Okay.
Why have I drawn a picture of Chris with a blauhai above his head?
Yeah, perhaps Tomorrow Yearns thinks he's trans.
Do I need to buy Chris some programmer socks?
Okay, and moving on. So, Nolus, obviously you haven't been invited to the cinema to hang out with Braden and Chris, but you do run into a sort of very tall, burly-looking man who you've seen around, who doesn't say anything, just sort of stares at you.
Okay. Is this a cameo of my other player character? What are we doing here?
That's Chris.
Oh.
Yeah,
I'm
he
sure
was.
what Chris is doing is isolating all of us in turn.
Yeah, so Chris is basically just sort of showing up and staring at you menacingly. How do you react?
I guess doing my best to just ignore him. Pretend I don't know what I don't know. I did like go out of my way during the dream to like disguise myself, so at least I wouldn't be recognized by Phil because she knows me. But I don't know if like through this ether people are able to sense each other easily through our like avatars or whatnot.
Actually, that's a fairly good point. Your character did sort of disguise himself pretty well. So yeah, I guess maybe you get the feeling that's like no one's actually sort of directly observed. Like you don't get the impression. Like you get the sort of impression you're one of several suspects. Yeah. So yeah.
I guess since I ran into like what do you call it? I ran into a projection of his avatar while I was transcended. Maybe there's kind of like suspicious vibes through that or something. Even though my regular dream self in the dream was disguised. I was mostly trying to be disguised from Phil in that dream. So at the point where I was trying to lure the Chris shark away, I guess some of that got like transferred through dream space or something, but like vibes or whatnot.
Yeah, maybe he was sort of looking out for vibes. So, are you doing anything to sort of avoid giving yourself away? You just avoiding him? You saying anything to him?
I'm gonna go with just avoiding. Can I roll? Can I roll like conceal or something, or is this obligation?
This is your obligation. So obviously, what is your lowest attribute?
Lowest is moon now.
Okay, so if moon is rolled, your obligation breaks your heart and drives you to despair. So I guess, like, maybe you don't sort of give too much away, but he's kind of he's been kind of overbearing here. Like, it's kind of hard to get anything done with someone following you around like this. So, would you like to roll, please?
Okay. Oh, I forget. Do I just click moon, or is there an obligation roller thing?
Yeah, your playbook in Roll20 should just let you click it to roll it.
Okay. Yeah, I forgot if there was an obligation button or if I just roll as if I was resisting. No bonus dice. Okay, I think it rolled. Okay.
Okay, 4. So yep, you're starting with 2 stress, not too bad. I get yep. He's like he keeps popping up in very sort of inappropriate settings, but eventually you manage to shake him, and it's not so bad. Okay, and last but not least, Carys. You won't have to roll obligation because you're currently in Eclipse, but nonetheless, how do you deal with this surveillance?
Oh, I don't?
No, Carys. Sorry. Enfys?
Initially, ignore him. But Carys's patience is running a little thin these days, so eventually is going to end up just fed up of it, just sort of stand up from whatever's being done, approach him, and loudly, in a way that's a little bit making a scene, call him out, like, "Oi, loitering, is there something we can help you with?"
Ooh. Okay, so obviously no obligation roll, but would you like, you don't have to, but would you like to make an action roll?
Sure.
Okay, what are we rolling?
Flow. So
okay.
To kind of act in, an authoritarian way that somebody in Carys's position might do if they thought somebody was being suspicious.
Okay, so this is more like moving gracefully, so it's more maybe if you're sort of physically avoiding him, but if you're sort of going for social pressure.
So the last example it gives is to act in accordance with others' expectations. Kind of the angle I was going for.
Oh yeah, that's true, actually. Yep, I'll give you flow.
Excellent. Risky standard, I assume?
Yeah, obviously this is before the actual sort of engagement roll, so...
Yeah. Wait, what am I rolling?
Just flow. Risky standard.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Okay, yeah.
6.
He fricks the heck off.
And I return to work.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess Carys in Eclipse is actually pretty badass. Right, and that moves us on to downtime. So everyone gets 2 downtime activities. Who wants to go first? Or shall I roll a dice?
Okay. Okay, right. Downtime. This is the one thing I hadn't really had figured out yet.
So you can make a connection.
remember
make a connection with both of the other two, I think.
Okay, I'll
Like,
keep
we
him
have
up.
for it. Yeah. Because we don't have it in this campaign. We don't have to make a connection in this campaign. We have the other one instead.
Oh
the
yeah,
intimate moment.
Yeah, you know, we know what we meant.
yeah.
Yes, just
Share an
making sure.
intimate moment, which is basically make a connection with a couple of extra rules. So yeah. So in downtime, you share an intimate moment with another protagonist. Describe the circumstances of your encounter and how you're vulnerable in this moment.
Oh, that's a thing. Gotta be the vulnerable. Okay. So we'll start with Tern because Tern's the easier one for me in this one. Is just I've got less of a firm grip on Miracle, weirdly enough. But yeah. Takes arrange for a bit of time. Probably after the confrontation with Chris. To have Tern show me a fishing spot that they like, just to make sure that the Tern has, you know, a chance to decompress. We can share what's going on with Chris, the fact that he's stalking us, and just let in that, you know, we're here for each other. You know, I got your back.
Okay. And so, Tern, do you share this moment or hold yourself apart?
Definitely share, I think.
Okay, so that means Enfys,
Extra
you can
dice.
roll with an extra dice. As Tern embraces this attempt to reach out.
And that's an ability roll, right?
Yep, what do you want to roll for this?
Confess.
I feel like contrary to the way Tern acts when he's transcended, he does kind of have in mind that like things are getting dicey. Carys is going through stuff, and like enemies are moving against us. We gotta like stick together and stuff like that. So like, it's a little bit of a contrast, like with Miracle, I guess, or where like he acts one way when he's himself and another way in the dream when he's transcended.
Fair enough. Yep. So yeah, roll confess, please.
Yeah, definitely. Resist consequences from despair and heartbreak. And Carys is in the grips of despair right now, so. Risky, standard, let's go. Badly!
You get a bonus die because I shared the moment, don't
I
you?
forgot
Or
about
what
the
do you-
bonus die. Let me re-roll that. Risky, standard. No transcendence. One bonus die.
Okay.
Badly!
Nope.
Not good.
Okay.
Not good.
Well, luckily this is downtime, so there's no consequences. So yeah, that's 2 links.
Give them both the turn.
Okay. Yep. Mark down 2 links with
Oh wait,
Carys then.
no. Turn chooses where they go. My bad.
No, yeah, that's right.
yeah, of course.
Okay, I'm gonna say one each. We might need
One
these.
each. Okay, cool. Okay. Help me out here, Keith. What kinds of things does Miracle do for like relaxing? What would I know about Miracle?
One thing for Miracle is that she's so stuck in her own little world and research and work on her degree that she doesn't do much for fun at all. So just so much dragging her to do something more interesting, anything more interesting, is probably a good idea at this juncture, as that will entertain her.
If she can handle the excitement.
Exactly.
Okay.
She's manic pixie friends to go, nope, you are reading too much, you are now riding a roller coaster now.
Yeah, she needs to learn the true meaning of Christmas.
I don't know that this city would have a roller coaster particularly nearby. So
A really small,
Sure.
crappy,
gonna
family-run
yeah.
amusement park, maybe.
There's probably like an arcade or something. Drag you around an arcade. Go for some old school. Put your change in the machine to play a game, sort of thing.
Ooh. And how does Miracle feel about being dragged around the arcade?
I think she's okay with it.
Yeah.
I think initially there's the initial reaction of no, I've got to study, I've got to test in the morning, all the rest of it. The second you drag her like away from the books, like clawing at the door on the way out as she goes, she settles down and goes, "Okay, cool. I'm into this. How are you doing? Everything okay? You seem a bit off at the moment. How's everything? Ooh, arcade machines, cool.
You
I've
get
played one of these since I was a kid."
in between doing the fun things, you do get a stern reminder about working too hard, putting everything else before yourself. You put your own oxygen mask on first,
Okay.
because we remember we're not sacrificing ourselves. There is no 1-for-1 deal here.
But it'll be fine. I just need to get through the autumn semester and if I make all I have to do is make enough progress for that, then I got a bit of a buffer between then and second semester, so I can then spend a little bit less time doing that, so I can skip prep for summer, and then third year will be okay, because
the moment she starts with the justifications, Carys gives her the most fed up, long, withering look that you have ever seen.
Yeah. Okay, Carys is actually being pretty nice in Eclipse.
Very slow, deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Don't drag it to the pier to throw off it.
Okay. So, has this affected how Miracle sort of receives this gesture, or?
I think Miracle, like after this goes, okay, you're right. I should relax. I should remember to calm down a little. Thanks.
Okay. Sounds like a shared moment. So, what are you rolling?
Oh. Confess again.
Okay. Confess sounds good. Remember, you've got an extra dice this time.
Yep.
Well, an extra die. Yeah, who cares? Ooh, that's slightly better.
No, it's an improvement.
Yep. 4 or 5 means 3 links that Miracle can choose to distribute as Keith sees fit.
I'll keep 1. You keep 2 on me.
Okay. Yep. So yep.
Wait,
obviously.
I did not pass the way you said that at all. Can you say it again?
I keep 1 of them. You keep 2 on me.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. So yeah, you both sort of open up to each other and spend a afternoon just moving around the arcade, racking up the high scores. Probably winning something from a claw machine. Yeah, interesting question. Which one of you would you say is probably the best at, the one who actually knows how to win at claw machines? Every friend group has one.
Want to say it Carys for this one for some reason.
I can see it. I can see it being
Gareth can just
something
save scum it.
because
Carys can save Sky.
this is also true. Before all the dream weirdness started, Carys was a very energy, outgoing, bubbly sort of person. So I imagine, in their younger years, it might be the sort of thing they spent a lot of time doing, hanging out with friends, just doing fun things like the arcade.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, you finish the afternoon with Miracle owning like a plushie or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's both your downtimes. Who's next?
I unfortunately have very boring downtimes due to being a stranger, because I can't choose share intimate moment or help people recover.
Yep.
Okay.
So I have to take the boring roles. But on the
Okay,
bright
Boris.
side, I get to take the boring roles.
Okay.
First of all, I'm going to work on my long-term project. Despite everything I have told Carys, I am still diligently working on my degree. The more I work on it, the less I have to worry about it getting in my way in the future. And also, given that I'm under surveillance by the conspiracy at the moment, directly, probably the most out of all of us, I may as well give the impression of being a good citizen at this juncture. So, hitting books, doing
most?
paperwork,
I was
doing
in the
extra
cult.
credits. You were in the cult, but now currently my ex's best friend is currently knives out for me. So,
Okay.
Yeah. For all they know, you're still in there.
yeah. Like, does anyone ever really leave the cult? You just lapsed. You'll be back one day, then. I'm sure they think that.
Yeah. Okay, so what are you rolling to make sure you do your homework?
Make sure I do my homework. I didn't even think about which one this was going to be. I presume, though, it's going to be analyze. Just off the top of my head. Yeah.
Yep, and analyze makes sense.
Yeah, let's roll me some analyze.
Okay, do you get any bonuses to downtime or?
I completely forgot if I do. No, I always roll star. Well, it's not investigate, so this is long-term project, so no.
Okay, roll away, just normal then, please.
No bonus dice, no weirdness. Not very many. It's just the 2 segments.
They
Yep.
found the miniature television in the bag of potato chips. Sorry.
Clock's half done though.
Oh yeah, what size clock did I give you for that?
You gave me a 10, Brie, which is mean.
Oh yeah, to be fair, it's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work for this semester, yes.
Yeah.
But I think I'm ahead.
Yeah. Is it really a sort of like a magical girl superhero story if you're not struggling to keep up with your home life?
Well, Carys thinks it shouldn't be.
Okay. And what are you doing for your second?
Despite the fact that I'm under surveillance, I can't help but not do the investigation side of things.
Okay. How are you furthering the investigation this time?
I don't think it's going to be directly Miracle's doing it. I think it's going to be Tomorrow Yearns is going to do it, and predominantly, I think Miracle realizes after like a few weeks of heads in books, or however long, like a few days of heads in books, that she's actually been heading out with Brayden and Chris on a few different like be friendly to each other social engagements, go to party stuff, and hasn't realized it, but Tomorrow Yearns has been in control the whole time for this one, just getting information from Chris directly, like just doing the gleaning information, going, oh yes, that's interesting, filing that away in the back of the mind. So whilst he's watching me, I'm watching him.
Yeah. Okay.
This is all very, very sneaky.
Okay. What are you rolling then?
The most Death
concealed.
Note.
The most Death Note. Yeah, my avatar's all very Death Note. Miracle's not, but
Yeah.
I'm rolling conceal for this one.
Yeah, conceal makes sense. After all, you're trying to avoid giving it away. So yeah.
I get it.
Let's. Do you have
I
any
get
bonuses?
extra dice.
Oh yep.
Yeah, I get extra dice because of Stranger's Kindness.
Oh lovely. Yep. Roll an extra. Roll with an extra die.
Yeah.
And let's see what Ooh. So yep. That's a 4.
That's 3 segments on the investigation track for the series.
Yep. As Tomorrow Yearns munches on a spiritual apple. Which probably looks like a Da Vinci sketch of an apple.
Please, it's a potato chip. I've not marked the tracks yet. Has someone already done that? Or shall I mark it now?
Mark it now.
Okay.
I didn't get
I'm
to
straight
it.
up not interacting with the crew sheets right now, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that puts us up to 2 dots into tier 3. Or at least 2 dots investigating into tier 3. So I think we're ahead of the conspiracy at this juncture.
Yep, I believe so.
Also meant to ask a question, apparently.
Oh yeah, it
Yeah,
functions as
for
a
gathering information. Yeah.
it functions as a gather information role. So
Yeah.
what does a 4 get you on gather information?
1 question and 1 follow-up.
That's right. So what's your question?
Yeah, so my questions are all very fun, generally about like how to exploit things. I presume the one I'm going to ask for this one is what might happen if I, and by extension we, pressure Chris right at this moment. Like
Okay.
go into his dreams or the like. Like, is he a point? Like, what might happen if that?
Okay, you get the impression that Chris is he's kind of prideful. He might just maybe he won't go for the sort of report back to the rest of the conspiracy immediately. He might just go straight for you in one way or another.
But it's okay for us to go straight for him at this juncture. There won't be any like massive repercussions against us. He's an okay target for this type of thing. And this is Tomorrow Yearn's way of thinking of it more than anything else. Like this is the target, right? This is someone in the way of a better tomorrow.
Okay, so if that's your follow-up, I can say, yep.
Yeah.
He basically, if you attack him, if you go after him and you're successful, he probably won't have raised the alarm.
Cool. I think at some juncture, whilst handwriting a term paper, there's an extra page of notes midway through a rather large essay that is just full of attack patterns. Like what? Oh no! Let's rip that page out and put it somewhere else
Yeah.
to show the others later because I've been sleepwalking again.
Yeah, you actually realise you submitted it, but the professor's like, okay, at least it's not a GTP prompt.
Oh god, no. It's fanfic. Ignore it.
Those kids didn't know Worlds of Warcraft or whatever.
Yeah. I don't really need to know about your TTRPGs and the like.
Yeah, that's definitely what it is.
Your Ds and Ds.
Well, I guess
My Ds and
statistically
Ds and
nowadays there
girl
would be
lines.
some professors who know what TTRPG is.
As if there weren't 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If anything, it'll be unusual. It's kind of unusual to find a professor who probably doesn't know about tabletop RPGs.
You didn't go to college in Florida.
Back in my days, we had FACO and liked it. Anyway, that's my downtimes.
Yeah. He's just furious. You're not looking up. You're not comparing your dice roll to a table. Anyway, that just leaves Anonis. So, what's Tern doing?
Okay, so I've already found with the Carys's and Miracle's links. How were those? Who got the 2 links again? I know it's a weird question, but I'm considering doing only one
Carys
intimate
got it.
moment and starting a project.
Carys got the 2 links out of us too.
Sorry, I had a phone call. Did I miss anything?
Nothing major.
Miracle's just being a nerd.
Yeah, that's right.
Miracle's just doing Death Note things.
I did our investigation.
Yeah, no,
yeah.
I was here for
That's
that
it.
bit. You progressed the track, and we're good to go after Chris, I think.
Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
long and short of it. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm able to have a Tern share an intimate moment with Carys, even though we already did that the other way around, right? Or does that only work like once? Like I remember that you can't do that. One person can't do 2 intimate moments as their downtime with one other character, but can both of them do one with each other and they're separate on their separate downtime like turns?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
because yeah. Because I want to have a bunch of links with Carys so that Enfys doesn't have to spend too much of that to backwards stress before we're able to figure out that Eclipse stuff. But I'm also thinking of maybe trying to start a project out of I guess partially finding out if Phil could potentially be turned to an ally, like a full-on ally against the
Interesting.
conspiracy.
Well,
Because
you
she
get
didn't seem
two.
to be too happy with being involved with it.
Yeah, well, you get 2 downtime, so you can do both.
Yep. So I think I mean, last time Tern hung around with the Carys by joining in on one of their volunteer charity things. So I think maybe he would just kind of make a habit of that.
Okay,
To make him
so
feel better in general too.
you
Assuming
basically
Carys
want.
should stay doing them.
Okay. So yep, Carys, Tern sort of offering to help with your charity stuff. How do you feel about this?
I mean, more hands is always good. Means Carys can spend maybe a little bit more time sorting out the paperwork stuff because bureaucracy is a nightmare. But yeah, we love having more hands.
Okay, that sounds to me like you're sharing the moment then.
I don't really think so, because it'd be more like, glad to have the hand, go do this.
Oh, okay, it's more of a, okay, how unfortunate. Well, a markdown XP turn.
Yep.
And what do you want to roll for this?
Sorry.
Okay. If I interpret this as Tern is just kind of following Carys's orders to kind of make things easier on her, could I argue flow for it, or am I not really? Am I misunderstanding what I can do with flow?
Nope, flow sounds good. Just sort of following Carys's instructions as well as you can.
Okay.
Yep. Roll away then.
Okay. No bonus dice.
Yep, unfortunately that's only 2 links, and those can be distributed as Carys sees fit.
No, it was XP, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I get the XP, I think.
Yep, Tern gets the XP.
Yep.
Yeah, I wrote down how it is it works.
But there is still
I wrote down
DLC
target
to-
player assigns links, but I thought it was the person whose downtime it was. I think I wrote that down wrong.
Target player.
Yep, so
So
Hang on a second.
Carys decides how those 2 links from this downtime activity are distributed.
Okay, I'm back.
Another
hold
one
on.
each, I think. Yeah.
I kind of want to have a surplus of. I kind of want us to have a surplus of links for Carys to use instead of stress for more dice, though.
Bearing in mind that links are spent to help allies.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
to
me
keep
having
the
a surplus of links is great for you guys. Does nothing to help me because I can't use them on myself.
I meant if we have ones towards your character to give you bonus dice that so we can give you bonus dice that you don't have to use stress for. I'm just really worried about.
Don't don't worry about it. We both got plenty of links. We just it means that we're all more likely to succeed, and therefore nobody will need to use stress. I'm not going to
Okay,
throw
so
myself into things without any considerations of the consequences at all. Don't worry about it.
Okay. we got 2 each for each other. We got more than 1 at least.
Yes.
Okay, I could.
Yep, and your second downtime.
How did Miracle's obligation roll go again?
Mine went okay. I'm on 0 stress.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I do really well at my obligations apparently.
Every time.
Yeah.
I also roll my best stat for obligation all the
Yeah,
time.
that's
As
true.
opposed to not,
Yeah,
of
yeah,
not being able
right.
to do half the downtime action.
Okay. I want to try and make a clock of some kind. I don't know. I guess. Should I immediately start with the aim of trying to turn Phil into an ally, or focus on finding out whether she's like even interested in trying to leave the conspiracy?
You did sort of establish
We did
that
have
yes,
that
she
cliffhanger
was. You did establish that she probably is in the last session. So yeah, I'll say you can just work on trying to get her to sort of join your sort of side.
Okay.
An informant.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll make this a 4-part clock.
Ah, only 4.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because you pretty much did most of the work anyway. So yeah, what do you want to roll to?
I'm gonna say express. Try out all these new actions that I got dots in all at once.
Yeah. So express.
End of that.
Trying to sort of convince someone with some sort of agenda in mind. Yep, that makes sense.
Okay, risky standard, I guess.
Yep, this is just downtime, so there's not really any position.
Oh right, yeah. Starting off strong.
Yep. Unfortunately, that's probably that's only 1 slip on the
2
yep,
two segments. Yeah.
Yep, that's 2 segments on the clock.
Huh. 2 of them, all right.
Yeah,
But,
it's because you could have them knocked down, or you can have skills that only put them on 1 at a time.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a 4-part clock, so you're already half done.
Yeah.
And you're
Good
getting all the
deal.
bad. Yeah, you've got all the bad rolls out of the way.
Hopefully.
Okay, so that's downtime sorted. On to the mission. So, obviously, you're planning to target Chris. What's your plan?
If y'all don't have a plan, I have an idea, but you might not like it.
I mean, regardless of whatever happens, he's going to find us at some juncture. At some point he's going to stop just approaching us in real life and go, no, sod it, let's go straight to dreams. So finding him is not going to be hard if we go to sleep. Problem is, what do we do once we're there? Or where and whose dream do we go into? Do we wait for him to come to us, or do we just strike at him at that juncture?
Yep. Nice thing about needing to target dreams is everyone needs to sleep eventually.
Yep. It's all very Nightmare on Elm Street.
It was crossing my head at what point we start resorting to just bonk on the head, but that might be a bit. Session 3 might be a bit early for that.
I don't think you sleep when you're unconscious. The thing as well. So let's not do that.
Also, he wouldn't get Series XP anyway.
So would be
So much for the honor
so much for
code.
shorter series if she just shot everyone.
My thinking.
No, I mean I meant to make someone go to sleep, but like you just said, apparently it doesn't work anyway.
You're thinking though.
My thinking is to lay a really obvious trap. And, you know, sort of pay lip service to it not being totally obvious. And complain, Carys can visit home, complain royally to whichever one of the parents is the sibling to Uncle Jack, about, this really annoying guy that's been stalking me and my friends. And I swear to God, I'm going to call a cop. I'm going to call the cops. We're going to get him locked up. Deal with this weirdo permanently. You should have a good old rant. And then know it, because we know Uncle Jack has something to do with the conspiracy, right? So it'll get from Jack to Chris, and then Chris will be like, "Oh no, they're coming for me," or something along those lines.
Do we want to warn him like that, or do we want to?
It depends. Do you want the power of surprise, or are we?
Seems risky as all.
I told you wouldn't like it.
No,
Would that even worry him? We know that non-zero amount of cops are involved with a conspiracy. We don't know how much more than zero.
I don't like that plan, Sarah's. It seems like it's going to cause more problems than it actually. It involved more people. We don't know who will hear it. We don't know if it will get to Chris. It might go to someone else, and they'll attack us, and we don't know what they're capable of. I'm sorry. I'm rambling.
Well,
I've got a final in a few days.
We need a plan. Who else has got an idea?
Final. I've got. It's gone. There's no real range on this whole dream thing. If we know who it is we're going in for, right? It's just harder to coordinate when it's someone we don't know. But I think regardless, Chris is going to be waiting or ready for us. So, do we think we can handle it?
Some amount of vibes got through to Chris through just a projection of him in somebody else's dream entirely, where Chris probably wasn't actually present in that dream. Might we be able to travel from one person's dream to another just because they know each other? For instance, if we can find some sign of Chris in Braden's dream, would we be able to invade Chris's dream through there? Just kind of a hyper jump kind of thing?
Maybe, but I think it's just a sign that Chris himself doesn't have particularly a well defended, or at least a care for concealing himself. I think it's going to be easy enough to find him out there. The problem is that what do we do when we get there? Like what is
our objective?
To knock him out of the conspiracy. We need to establish that he has no power over us, and everything. We need to find something to stop him from working for them somewhere in his mind.
So we're trying to find something about him that will. We're trying to get the conspiracy to stop using him somehow,
or for him just to slow what he's doing working for them. It's the same thing we did. It's the same thing we did a few months ago to insert character name here in season 1. It's not going to be enough to find evidence and tell people in the real space. It's something that has to happen in a personal way and on a personal level where where it's words. Yeah, Miracle's trying to effectively say that it doesn't particularly matter about grabbing evidence. It matters that we know something that he does, and we can use it over him or make him worried that that information is going to be held against him by either conspiracy or other people or something else. It is emotional blackmail in the hardest way, but all of this is deep personal emotional stuff.
So we are kind of just doing Inception here.
Oh yeah.
We're trying to install something into his psyche that makes him less eager to
not even install. Not even installing. Like if that's an option, that's one thing. But but finding something deep within him that's like, oh, this is driving you. Yeah, this is
something that we could do that with or something.
So it's going to depend entirely what happens when we get there, but I'm guessing the way Chris has been described, he's only particularly going to respond to a bigger fish, quite literally.
I do get big, do you even lift bro energy from the whole big old shark thing?
Yeah, quite literally it is. Like, he needs to see that there is a bigger fish. He needs to see us as the bigger fish, or we need to like take that part mentally inside of him, whichever way it works, and we don't even know when we get there.
And
but we kind of need to be prepared for it.
It would have to happen in such a way that he's scared off and he doesn't ask for backup. I don't know if we know enough about him to know whether he would accept help from his allies.
He won't.
Okay.
We know enough about that to say that even if he does go for it, it's going to be a long time for it, provided it's not in a way that's like, this is why it can't be done outside of the dreams. If it happens outside the dreams, someone's going to see it. If it happens inside of it, unless someone is sitting there watching us do it and reports it up the chain, only we'll know about it. Like us three and Chris.
All right.
But either way, Chris needs confronting.
Yep.
The only thing that I would add to that is to expect something strange to happen, because we don't know how the conspiracy is empowering its higher tiered members, and we haven't dealt with anybody on this tier yet. So,
well, not since, again, character name from last season, where everything so much more simple.
Yes.
And it definitely stayed simple.
Yeah, I am down for the display of overwhelming force idea.
If you don't mind the GM making a suggestion, that character was probably Tern.
Well up there.
Yes.
Like, yeah, but if it's that way, I don't really particularly want to phrase it this way. It's like, oh yeah, all we have to do is just break in someone's memory and rearrange their mind. It's like, no, we need to go in and have the battle in the mind to find out what it is they truly want from life and use that. Like, the conspiracy isn't what people want. At the end of the day, that's never what they want. It's some unfulfilled desire, and that needs addressing.
Yeah,
and if we aren't able to do it, then who?
It's a twisted, obsessive attempt to have things remain as they are. So whoever's in power stays in power.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody wants to stay where they are. Everybody wants something a little bit more than what they have. So what's his something more? What is the conspiracy giving him that at the moment seems enticing enough that he's not admitting to what he really wants?
Yep. And so that's what we have to do, I think. So I got myself plenty of sleeping pills.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have to do this tonight or tomorrow, because I have an exam in the day after. And I will need to be up all night cramming for that.
Okay, it sounds like you have a plan.
We do. We also have a mission, which will be directly confront a known conspirator.
I keep forgetting that they kept flashbacks in this game. They should have put in a note encouraging you to create a flashback that establishes something from the first season. That'd be fun, I think. I don't know if it would work.
Yeah, definitely will. The whole first season was a whole 20-part anime that's been lost. That's been lost media. So we need to put as much reused footage in as possible.
Yeah, retroactive canon.
Also known as a ret.
Okay then, it's time for the engagement roll then.
Oh, do we have to? I never like making engagement rolls.
Yeah. Switching to the tense music, it's too late.
Dun, 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 dun.
Okay, so there's always hope. The protagonist starts out with 1 dice for every mission, except
Except, you can't say except. What is
Yep.
this?
Except this is made of. I forget. Did we get to take away any of the conspiracy's debuffs so far?
nope.
This is what we're
they
trying
have-
to do. This is the mission
Yeah.
we're doing for that.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
you have to.
Yeah, they have that
confront
debuff where it's like, actually, there is no hope. You don't you don't get your D1. You don't get your bonus D1.
Yep. Basically, you need to deal with the indoctrination segment of the conspiracy. So that's basically identifying the propagator, follower, and overseer for that particular triangle. I think you've established Phil and Chris are part of the acquisitions.
Yeah, we haven't found anyone who's in indoctrination or surveillance yet.
Okay.
Oh, I completely forgot that surveillance knocks our investigator down. That sucks. Oops.
Oh yeah. Sorry about that. I should have remembered. Oh well.
Yeah, it's fine.
Hang on.
For next time.
This stuff is something else.
But
Yep,
yeah,
that
indoctrination.
offsets that.
All our dice are down by 1 for engagement rolls.
What debuff do we get rid of if we get through the acquisitions branch? Then,
I
since
think
that-
we deal with that if we get to that point.
Yeah, when we clear acquisitions, when we clear the overseer of acquisitions, we don't have have worse fallout because all our fallout is currently upgraded by automatically goes up by an additional 1. Basically, 1 more heat in terms of blades. We always get 1 more
Right.
heat.
Okay. So yep. You start out with 0 dice. Is this mission particularly heroic or noble?
I mean, taking on the highest person that we definitively know in the conspiracy, so possibly kind of heroic.
Oh, go on. I'll give you that.
Yeah, we are literally doing we are unified. We are going to confront this person. The suit up music has happened. Yeah, it's heroic.
Okay. Does this, and I'm going to say the mission's goal or methods don't particularly reflect the worst parts of you. Except Carys, who's reflecting the worst parts of her already.
Very much run up to it and punch it in the face, yes.
It depends what everyone's attitude is for this at the moment, I guess.
Is the mission following through on details from the protagonist's investigation? Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yep. I mean, both Miracle's investigation and the previous investigation. Definitely. So 2 dice. Does this mission determine the fate of a friend? I don't think Chris is your friend.
Not in particular.
Braden is though. Depends how you'll know better than I do if Claws are in Braden or not through Chris.
I'll say Braden isn't being sort of affected directly by this.
Fair enough.
Like, it's just Chris. He's just an acquaintance of Chris, who's sort of using that to try and keep tabs on you. Okay. Does the mission's tier exceed the current tier of the investigation track?
Huh.
What is the current investigation track again?
The current investigation track is midway through 3. All that being said, all foes are at +1 scale until all followers are identified, and we haven't identified 2 followers yet, so yay.
Brioche disappeared from the roll 20.
Huh?
You
vanished from the roll 20.
I can still see it.
Oh, you're back now. You're back now.
Okay.
Weird.
But yeah, I'm assuming he's a tier 1. He is a tier 1, quite literally. Yeah, we
Yeah,
are.
he is
we are
literally
in theory above him. Yeah.
Yep, he is literally
though
tier 1.
Yeah, even though he would be counted as a tier 2, I think, because of us not knowing all the followers. Yeah, I think we're still above him.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, yep, that sounds right. So you don't lose any die. Are there any other elements you want to consider?
That's on you at this juncture.
Okay, well, actually, because Carys is in Eclipse. Enfys,
Hi.
explain to me why Carys being in Eclipse won't negatively affect this mission.
Gesundheit.
Because it's going to result in, like, Carys's usual MO, right, is to calculate as many moves as possible and to guide and nudge people into a more successful path. Carys's current thinking is more along the lines of, well, fuck that. Let's be the successful path. And is going to try to put more of an effort in having everybody work cohesively towards the goal as directly and actively possible. In theory, there's more teamwork.
Also, Tern made a fool out of Chris's Shark Sona before, so he's got a little bit of a morale boost from that.
Yeah, well, I'm asking about Carys right now.
Okay. I was just under, like, miscellaneous.
Fun questions from the book on confronting a known conspirator. Things to consider. Does the suspect know you're coming? Which of their misdeeds are you willing to forgive? How do you plan to confront the conspirator once you find them? What traps has the conspiracy laid for you? What strange power has the conspiracy granted the dreamer? These are all fun questions we can probably ask for this section.
I did hint at that earlier, by the way.
Go on, I won't take away a dice then.
Do I get a dice?
No.
Fair. Valid.
Rude.
But, yeah, we have.
Because when my teammates don't do as I'm asking them to, I'm gonna punch him in the face. Figuratively speaking.
Yeah, no PvP. So yeah, that's 2 dice. Would anyone like to roll them?
Any volunteers, or shall I?
I want Carys to roll this one.
Okay.
Note to yourself, try to avoid transcending then, because Stormcrow does not take orders, I don't think.
The man.
Tern does.
2d6, right?
Yep, 2d6.
Oh no! Why did
It's a trap!
There's percent going for PB.
It's a top. We're doomed.
I'm gonna die today.
No, you're not.
Okay, so bad result. So, what was your plan? Just sort of go to sleep and try and sort of, inception, sort of hop from dream to dream until you get to Chris's?
Yeah, like we've got a vague idea. Like everyone sleeps, as you said, so we said, right, meet up in a shared space that we know we can get to here, and then from there we go to find Chris. Can I pitch in on how this has gone completely wrong for us?
Absolutely.
Cool. Chris knows we're coming. Clearly knows that it's at some juncture either we're going to go or he is, and he's been waiting for this moment. And so as we're halfway there, he strikes at us at a completely not suited for the environment part of the dreamscape. Like we're in someone else's dream, jumping from here to somewhere else where we think we're going to get to Chris, and then all of a sudden, giant shark.
I like this.
Completely wrong terrain for it. We're walking down like a nice busy shopping center. Everything's all smiles and sunshine. Then Sharkzilla attacks.
Yeah.
Just out of the concrete, just jumps the shark. It's like, oh no. The shark should be swimming through liquid concrete like that.
I've seen Ghost Shark. I don't know if Bree was there for that one.
I've seen Ghost Shark.
That was messed up.
So it was,
but that's what I'm picturing.
Yeah. For those who don't know, Ghost Shark's a movie about a ghost shark that can manifest in any water, and there is actually a scene where it manifests in a cup of water someone's just taken a sip out of.
Wonderful. But I'm thinking it just rises straight out of the asphalt, like it treats the roads as water.
It does sort of do that at one point.
Yeah, well.
So not only do we have to deal with Chris at this point, but we're still miles away from actually getting into his dream proper.
Yeah. So I think
we have to race our way there whilst being pursued by him at the same time. It's all very meta and weird.
Yeah. So I'll say what happens is you sort of do a bit of sort of cursory research and learn his schedule, so you know roughly when he'll have gone to bed. But, unbeknownst to you, he has actually sort of cottoned on to this, and he realises, while he hasn't identified all of you, he does know you're probably planning to get him. And, as Keith suggested, he decides to head you off. So, I'll say you are sort of all reach out, and you're planning, basically, late at night, there is several sort of people who are already, always in the library at all hours, and inevitably fall asleep. Miracle being one of them, but, she's got something else to do tonight. So, basically, your plan is to hop in there, sort of meet in that general sort of dreamscape, like, not go into anyone's mind fully, just sort of the space that forms between them. And then from there, you can probably quite easily make your way to Chris's dreams. And sure, as you're sort of in this sort of projection of the library, you're all sort of looking for one another amongst the bookshelves. And yeah, I'm just going to roll a dice. Miracle.
That's a roll dice. Oh no.
You hear a loud crash and a roar. Tern. You also hear this. Carys, as you're sort of in the sort of central area of the dream version of the library, just sort of scanning around, looking for the other two, you feel the ground around you rumble and realise it's suddenly a huge pair of shark jaws. What would you like to do?
Ooh, that's a spicy meatball. Okay. feel like that we knew that a trap was good, more than fairly possible, right?
Yep. Remember, you can flashback.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking of a flashback. Okay, so I'm just going to tell you what's going through my thoughts, and you can go from there. We know Phil, I think her name was, the Fisher Club president. Yep, she knows about dream stuff. And I feel like Carys might have had a conversation with her at some point leading up to this, with the idea of putting across to her that, you know, hey, I'm gonna need a little bit of help setting up a bait situation for a really big fish. So I want to be to set up sort of a fake one of us for Chris to pounce on, while the actual one of us, me in this case, is sort of off to one side. Thus, you know, he chomps down on the fake me revealing himself, and then we can act.
Okay, what would you like to... I'll say you can have set this up for 2 stress. What would you like to roll?
So with a shark or something that size, I think you have like what's called chum. So maybe just like a big sack filled with it or something. I don't really know. I don't know how close.
I mean, dream logic, right? We're in the dream world.
We're in the library, so you need to grab a ton of paper shreddings to then manifest them as chum for this gigantic.
Yeah, exactly.
Book shark.
Oh, there you go.
So grab the paper shred and just empty it.
I'm thinking 2 things for you, Bree. One, I'm thinking of using analyze for this to make sure it all gets set up properly. And 2, to use my special ability, rewind return. I've been through this timeline at least once before. Probably had a chunk taken out of me that time. Flashbacks cost 1 less than normal.
Ooh.
How did this go wrong the first time? Well, the first time I fell for the trap and he got me.
Yeah, okay, so, yeah. With memories of being bisected in 2. See what I did there?
Hey.
Obviously, it was just in a dream, but it did not feel good when you woke up. Firmly in your mind. I'm going to say analyze doesn't really work here. Like, you can use analyze, but I'll say it's not gonna. It's gonna have limited effect, just because, you know, this isn't really an analyze thing. You're trying to trick someone else, not sort of read them or read the situation. Actually, I suppose analyze might work for actually sort of working out how to, you know, set this lure up, because that is what you're talking to Phil about.
Yeah. Yeah, like
yes.
using her expertise for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I see your logic actually. I'll say, yep, you can have you can have desperate standard for this, because you're already in a desperate position.
Excellent.
So don't forget to mark XP.
Start. Ooh. Mark it there, because that's where I'm using it.
That's
standard. Right. Not transcendent.
How many dice you got for this one at the moment, Enfys?
Say again?
How many dice you got for this at the moment?
I've got 1 dot into analyze and no bonus at the moment.
Yeah, do you want to... I'm going to spend a link for this one.
Okay, cool. That's going to be 2 dice then.
So 1 bonus I'd put in, because it'll count the dot automatically, right?
Yeah. The dice on your sheet get cancelled automatically. This is just for the extras. So just for bonuses.
1 bonus for the thing. Cool.
Oh.
There we go.
Okay, a 6. that is a success with no consequences.
That's
Which is good
another
because-
experience.
Yeah, which is good because desperate rolls mean the worst consequences. So yeah. So obviously we just sort of begin. The scene sort of starts with you realizing a pair of shark jaws have just formed from the floor and are about to bite you. But then it just sort of it sort of pulls back and reveals this is just your memory of the last timeline. And Chris bursts forth and bites a bunch of paper shreddings.
Just collapses into. It's very suddenly, very obviously a collage.
Yeah.
The magazine section has been emptied.
Yeah. So Miracle and Tern, you sort of run forward and just see this giant shark biting into a sort of a very obvious fake. Carys, he's just sort of stood to the side, looking very smug.
We need to get out of here now.
Okay, Miracle.
Like,
It sounds like
Miracle is clearly impressed, but like suddenly snaps into, "Oh no, we're in immense danger. We need to go."
okay, Miracle. Sounds like you want to move along. What do you want to roll?
Yeah.
Find your destination.
So, so Miracle's like aware that we can't. Well, we can fight Chris here, but every moment we spend fighting Chris here is going to be just worse for us overall, even before we actually get into his brain or into his dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you have lack of stress?
Me, I took that would have been 2 stress for for how complicated that was to set up, but I automatically reduced 1 because of one return.
Yeah.
We need to
I took
stop
1
feeling that
stress.
much stress. How much stress are you on at the moment?
1.
Like, what, as in 1 left or one down?
Oh, I've
from
taken.
top?
I'm 1 down from the top. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. We're counting down to 0, not counting up from there. Yeah. That's why I was like, you're only 1 away from losing your character. No.
No, I'd be much.
Okay,
That would have been a lot of stress.
so you're on 8. You're on 8 stress. Okay. Got it.
Something else to also remember. Stress for Carys while she's in Eclipse won't reset between missions.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
It's at 8. So this is bad. Like 8 going down to 0. But yes. Back to what I was saying. Miracle knows that the longer we spend fighting Chris outside of his own dreams, the weaker we're going to be and the stronger he's going to be when we get to his dream anyway. So it's purely an act of don't care about Shark here, don't care about Shark wherever it is we're going next. We just blaze through until we actually hit what we think is Chris's dream. And whilst Chris is busy chowing down on a fake Carys, it's going to just be run past the shark while it's distracted and busy, boop it on the nose, and then go past the door behind it, and just burst through the double doors into whatever the next dreamscape we're going into.
Okay, sounds like a plan. What do you want to roll for it?
I'd like to roll Defy for this one, please.
Yep, this is definitely defying someone.
Yeah.
Would you like to
so-
push yourself or take a poison promise? Anyone
What
like
poison
spend a
promise?
link?
What poison promises people thinkings of here? Because I've got 1 in Defy. I'm not terrible at it, and I think we're just in risky, aren't we? I'm not pushing this down to dangerous, to desperate yet, am I?
Okay, so poison promise. Chris is regardless of how this goes, Chris is going to remember this slide personally, and it's going to damage your relationship with Brendan.
Oh.
Braden?
Not
Braden.
Braden. No. Not. Oh well, Braden. That's fine. Yeah. Like, oh, not Braden. Oh.
Popular character Brendan.
You know what? You know what, Chris? You and I are never going to be friends. Boop on nose. Let's take that. Let's take that poison.
Okay, roll with an extra
I'm
die.
going past literally booping the shark on the snoot like you're meant to.
Yeah.
I don't think you're meant to punch a shark on the nose, but everyone believes it, and so Chris probably believes it as well.
Yeah, so dream logic, everyone believes it, so it works. In reality, I think you're
Yes.
supposed to go for the gills or something, because they're the really sensitive part. Or the inside of its
We
mouth, but
haven't
that's
said
probably
it.
a bias idea.
We haven't said that he's in a fishing club. Maybe he's not in it.
Have you not seen the GIF? All you got to do is rotate him.
Of course. Yep, so this is going to be risky standard. Don't forget your extra dice, and let's see it.
Yeah, so risky, standard, not transcendent, 1 bonus dice, defy.
Oh, come on.
I
Yeah. You punch him so hard he gets rotated, I guess, and you're able to quickly move on.
like the idea of like as the sharks have come up and start like just grabbing onto it, I'm just going to, in pure dream logic mode, leap over it, bop the shark on the nose, and just drop it like it's a whack-a-mole game.
Yeah.
Bonk.
Like, the
Down,
shark just...
down into the fake water.
Yeah, the shark just
jump
rotates...
up.
Yeah, the shark just literally rotates on its axis, so now the tail's pointing up.
We've got to move now, and then I just burst through whatever double doors we are. Like, presumably this would actually, if it was a real library, lead into an internal room in the library. But because we're in dream logic and moving through the shared collective hallucination of the city, we are somewhere else entirely. Or at least I'm going to be somewhere else entirely as soon as I walk through this portal.
Okay, so yep, you basically move towards... sort of, Chris is studying agriculture. So basically you're heading towards that, and based on dream logic, that will sort of eventually take you to his sort of direct dreamscape. So you shove these two doors open, and you find yourself... It looks... Well, it does look like a corridor within the actual sort of building, but it's one sort of several floors up, so you know you're on the right track.
Yes.
But it's just a plain corridor full of doors.
Still in the library, still in the library. Don't like it, don't like it. Okay, fine. Should be out of here by now. Nope. Okay. Yeah, I want to hear what
Do we try a bunch of different doors, or just kind of try to run to the end?
It's a bit more metaphysical than that. We'll know the door when we see it.
Yep. Would you like to try to do something to find the door, Tern?
I don't know. I was just scanning for whatever one has a picture of a shark on it. I'm not really sure.
I mean, you can sort of look at the doors and see if any sort of jump out at you, metaphorically. I need to clarify
Hopefully
that because dream
metaphorically.
logic. What's that, sorry?
Well, I have a dot and perceive.
Yep, perceive makes sense. Do you want to push yourself, take a poison promise?
I feel like we're kind of early in. Still. What kind of a promise we got on offer?
Let's say you'll lose that anonymity that you've been sort of cultivating so far.
I don't know if it's really been working so far. That was. I haven't really bothered with that yet. In this juncture, that was mostly to avoid potentially exposing myself to the conspiracy or something. I don't know. No, I'll just go with the one dot that I have.
Okay, fair enough. Roll away then, please. This is risky standard.
All right.
Come on, consequence.
Okay. Aww.
Consequences.
Okay, that's
The door
failure.
jumps out at me, non-metaphorically, I guess.
Okay, so you open the door, and you find yourself in... Okay, so basically you pull the door open, and it's... As you open the door, the dreamscape behind it sort of floods over the sort of corridor, so all three of you going to see this. And what you see is the roof of the building. The wind is howling, and the rain is falling, and the ground is shaking. Tern, a shark fin suddenly pops up beneath your feet and knocks you over. Take level 1 harm. Ambushed. Actually, no, that's a bit vague. Level 1 harm. Tripped.
Really tempted to resist this. I keep ending up with level 1 harm, and it keeps staying with me for like forever.
Yeah,
Lamar,
you can
have you
resist
got any
it.
harm at the moment already?
But yeah, I've had tinnitus since the first session.
Is everything's
Ah.
got less effect for anything?
don't-
Nobody else
I-
keeps getting. Nobody else is getting harmed, so I don't have anybody to do my double heal nonsense with.
Lamar, no, I've got harm. I've got rattled. What do you mean?
Oh damn it! I should.
We really should have had that conversation during like downtime.
Yeah.
Okay, well remember that for next time. But I'll spend the link, and you don't get harm. There we go.
Okay, link spent. So, Carys, how do you prevent this harm from befalling Tern?
I catch them because I'm close. I'm close by to either of them. I'm like in the middle. I'm in the middle. Don't see the shark fin quick enough to prevent the trip entirely, but quickly enough that I can prevent them from anything more than a stumble. You know.
Yeah, and it just, it just sort of flashes back to a trust exercise you and Tern were doing while he was helping with your volunteer work.
All right, team, get together.
Okay, so yeah, you find yourself in this dreamscape. You're on the roof of the main university building. Again, the wind is howling, the rain is falling, and you're not entirely sure how to get to Chris's mind from here. And something just doesn't feel right about this. And this feels like a good place for a break.
No, not a break. Yeah, fine.
Okay, 10 minutes sound okay?
Sounds great.
Yeah, that sounds great. I'll go put the kettle on.
All right, we'll reconvene at 25 minutes past.
Yeah, be right back.
Okay, I'll move us to the break screen. Everyone can still hear you. So, yeah, not much has changed. The map's just not there.
I remembered I do have snacks, but they are extraordinarily loud snacks, so I can't eat them while I'm on the microphone.
These are the sacrifices we have to make sometimes.
I have twiglets.
Oh my god, I haven't had Twiglets for ages.
I know, and I live in like not UK, so I don't get Twiglets very often. I have to go
Oh,
to the
yeah.
British import store to get them.
Yeah, they are the most probably one of the most British snacks possible, considering they're Marmite flavoured.
I think they're just Worcestershire flavored, aren't they? But no, yeah, I guess they're Marmite flavored.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Although,
it's yeast extract flavor. Yeah, so
yeah, Marmite flavoured.
yeah, umami flavored.
Yeah. To be honest, I have a fear that people who don't like Marmite just spread it on too thickly.
Oh god, yeah. Have you seen like YouTube shorts or TikToks of people trying to have Marmite unsupervised and just spraying it like not spraying it, spreading it like it's a thick tar on top of the like a completely black tar on top of their bread with no butter beneath it. It's like you're gonna have a miserable time there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really watch TikToks or YouTube shorts much. Like, I do keep getting caught in YouTube shorts, but I don't think I've really got as far as seeing TikTok, YouTube, Twiglet YouTube.
Making me lap my delicious crisps up here. No, but yeah, it's Marmite's a great flavor. Like, I've had Marmite for a while. It's easy to get hold of Marmite in Sweden, though. Like, it's fairly easy to get hold of. Brand that's in most grocery stores, actually. So, but yeah, you've got to have it on butter. It's not a substitute for. It's not like a mayonnaise. You don't just spread it as a thick thing on top of your bread. It needs something else to temper out the complete bitterness.
I mean, slight confession, but I do actually like the bitterness.
Oh, that is the appeal, but you can't just have bitter. Like it's the same way. It's like, I'm going to drink this coffee by just putting a tiny bit of cold water into this big spoonful of black powder. It's like, why does it taste terrible? It's like, no, first you've got to boil the water, and then you got to put it through a strained version of the coffee that's been highly pressurized, and it's a whole process.
I reckon Miracle would have some kind of intel on vaguely what part of the city this guy lives in, I guess.
Huh?
I don't know.
All right, you said Miracle.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I
my
don't
brain
know.
was switched off for a second there. I mean, yeah, I'd
That would
imagine that.
happen. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I'd imagine Miracle would sort of know where he lives roughly, but that's not as important as knowing where his sort of mind is, if that makes sense.
I'm picturing the whole dream unconsciousness being like everyone's got a vague idea of what the city looks like, so there's a plan to it that mostly corresponds with reality, but it's different in places based on, well, I know what the inside of this stairwell looks like, or I remember what the inside of this stairwell used to look like, all conflicting with each other. So along the big main roads, it's like, oh yeah, this is just like everything else, except there's slight weirdness based on whether you remember it being sunny or rainy today. But as we get closer and closer to specific people's sphere of influence, where their mind tends to stay during their dream, that's where things start to get complicated. Like, of course, around the library, it's going to be full of people thinking about paper and pages and information and metaphorical everything happening and all these possibilities, like endless hallways. But the second we branch out from there, things are going to get a bit weird, considering some people are going to see this big building and not even know it's a library.
I mentioned you also could end up with other sort of more emotional-based weirdnesses. Like areas that tend to be monotonous, like say a commute where you often get stuck in traffic. The road might seem a lot longer than it is in reality when you're actually driving along it. In the room.
And the reverse of that as well, for ones where people spend most of their time not even thinking about what they're seeing and walk past it. So the endless blocks of like similar tenements are going to just blur into, and we've walked past half the city now, despite the fact that there's actually meant to be 3 different city blocks worth of stuff here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the whole traveling through the city is like, it's not like, oh, we have to physically go here. It's like, no, we can kind of skip through here because people think, oh, I went from the library to my day job. Oh, I went from the library straight to home by the bus.
Yeah, almost like Feywild time.
Yeah.
Where, you know, what time it actually is or how fast time is passing actually depends on where you are, what you're doing, and whether or not you're moving to another place.
We are traveling at the speed of anecdotes.
Yes.
Exactly.
We have to move the connections for it. So, like, maybe Chris doesn't even ever come to the library, and this is what's throwing us all off. It's like, oh no, how do we get to Chris from here? This wasn't meant to happen. We had a plan, and now everything's gone sideways.
Is there like an agriculture department or something to the university, or is that the kind of thing that there would be a department for? Or should we look for grassland or something? If like agriculture major is the most that we know about him.
Are we back from break, by the way?
I can be back from break.
Yes.
I guess. Yeah.
Okay, hang on. I'll just move us back to the sort of main screen then, and switch the music back on. Okay, so
it's not enough that it's just entirely thematically like, oh, agriculture department to agriculture to Chris. It's only going to be important if Chris himself would see it that way.
The combination of shark and agriculture major is way throwing me off. I have no idea how we're supposed to.
That's presumably why we are in this position that we are. It's like everything threw us all off. So it's like, okay, no, find a common place here, because for all our research on Chris, we didn't think, oh no, he wouldn't know anything about the library. Why would he? He doesn't come here. You don't normally go to this part of the university unless you're doing a ton of like academic research, and unless he's really into the history of agriculture. Why would he go to the library this often? Why would he have formative memories here? This wouldn't make sense. Why? No. We were using this as a shortcut, and now it's become part of the main route, and now we are lost. So it's a matter of getting back on track. And then getting into Chris, which is like, in itself, so...
Yeah, so
this is why Miracle is trying to plow forward as fast as possible, because the faster we get onto a main track, the faster we get back to everything.
Yeah, so while you're on the roof, well, now that you're all on the roof, what you sort of feel is a strange sort of, you've sort of experienced this before. Basically, you feel like, for want of a better word, intruders. Like, in other circumstances, if you find your sort of dream selves in the dream version of the sort of roof of the building, it might feel more like a home or but you get sort of the feeling, because you're being confronted here by Chris, like for whatever reason he feels more secure up here. and you're not quite in his mind yet, so there's no way you can access what you want, but he certainly has the upper hand. What's the plan?
Makes sense. Miracle's just saying to herself, does he hang out on the library roof?
Earth, water, sky. This guy thinks he's a daggone avatar.
It's an avatar. I don't watch enough TV.
Never mind.
So
You get the vibe of Tomorrow Yearns, and it just sort of flashes the images of James Cameron's Avatar in your mind.
No, no.
Oh, okay.
Was that the movie we had to go see? No, it couldn't
Yes.
have been. No, there was good architecture and it can't have been.
I mean, the 3D effects were amazing.
Were they though?
Yeah.
So, okay, no. If he feels safe up here, that's good, right? We can use this. We can use this to get to next link into his dream, right? All we've got to do is find that link, right?
It's a clue. Miracle, figure it out. Tern.
Okay.
We watch Miracle's back, and I'm going to transcend.
Oh. So, just for the class, what does your transcendence look like?
Carys is going to turn towards where we last saw the shark thing swimming towards. Take a step or two towards it, and as she does, legs get longer, arms get longer, clothes start flowing out from her and tearing into shreds as they flicker through different versions of Carys. For a moment, she looks carefree and happy, like a genuine smile on her face in like a bright yellow dress with various floral patterns across it, and then it shimmers mostly away. A single like strand of it remains, but it shimmers away and is replaced by a filthy, dirty, miserable down on a luck version, which then shimmers away, and you see a Carys that's recently been injured, covered in blood, big old black eye, can't see out of it, shimmers away again, and you get this rinsing, repeating, and sometimes they're great, sometimes they're middling, sometimes she's been through hell. The end result is who knows how many overlapping layers of cloth flowing around her, and her face is distorted to the point of becoming featureless, effectively, and she's just abnormally tall and thin. It's very much uncanny valley, and like this is no longer quite human.
Okay. So every version of Carys sort of flashes before everyone's eyes. What are you doing?
I am going to call out to Chris, and I'm going to say, I've seen your plan. You failed once. Now jump out and fail again. And then I think we'll be on our way to you. And as she's saying this, as she says, we know your plan. For that part of the speech, the avatar's image coalesces into a version of Carys that fell for the trap, and you see like a grossly mangled body covered in blood and then it flickers away and we're back to the normal avatar.
Okay. What's your intention here?
to inspire uncertainty. Because it is, for all intents and purposes, he had the upper hand. He was ambushing us at what was for us a crossroads point, because we were going to use the library as a point to jump to someone more familiar, that it would lead to him effectively. But he ambushed us in the worst place possible, and by all rights should have snapped up one of us.
Okay.
But
yeah,
we know,
so-
but we appear to know his plan. We appear to actually have the upper hand.
Okay, so you basically want to sort of put him on the back foot, get him to sort of back off, so you can confront him, sort of.
Yeah, make him think twice.
Okay, what do you want to roll for it?
Express.
Express.
Using words and images with a particular agenda in mind.
Yeah, that sounds good. Do you want to push yourself?
Yes.
I would love for you not to. Do you want to dice from a link instead?
Sure. I'll take a link instead. Yeah.
Okay, cool. We'll call this risky standard then, please.
All right. Risky. Standard. Transcendent. Yes. Bonus die. 1.
Oh yeah,
Take
you
those.
took that hold back the nightmare bonus die, right?
Wait, what?
The hold back the you're transcended and trying to scare somebody, you get a bonus die.
Oh yeah, that's true. You get the bonus die when you're in Eclipse and transcended.
Ooh. Okay, shall I just roll one more d6 to see what the third number is?
Yeah, just in case it
Get
crits.
a 6, get a 6, get a 6, get a 6.
Yeah.
I rolled a 1. 6, 4, 1.
Good roll 20. But yeah, that's
I mean,
a
I still
success.
got 1 6.
Yeah, that is a success without any complications. Wow, roll 20. Way to take the player side. So yeah, the sort of form of the shark. Basically, you see the fin sort of turning away, ready for another sort of swim by, drive by, whatever you want to call it. But it sort of stops, bobs for a moment, and the jaws sort of float back up. It sort of moves to the surface of the roof, and it's kind of like it's breaching in slow motion. And the jaws just sort of open wider and wider and drop down. And there you see the burly form of Chris, who tilts his head and glares at you. You know shit.
Emrys Adeg's head tilts perfectly in time with his.
He looks quite unnerved and sort of takes a step back. Well, if you're so smart, you know where to find me. And with that, the shark sort of swallows him up again and drops down. And you're sort of like sort of memories from another timeline flash in your mind, Carys, and you remember it's not directly a memory of Chris, because you never really had much to do with the guy, but you do remember there's quite a big project going on that the university's involved with in the oddly enough the agricultural district. And you know this because of time you've spent with your Uncle Jack, where basically a bunch of old shopping centres have been converted into what are basically hydroponic farms. And you put 2 and 2 together and realise this is what Chris probably spends most of his time working on. And that's probably where you're going to find, that's probably where his mind's going to be anchored while he's dreaming.
I definitely bring that up with just realised I didn't actually open my notepad, so I didn't have my notes up. Otherwise, I might have picked up on that connection. But yeah, I share all that with Miracle.
That sounds like it's going to help. I'd like to jump in at this juncture, seeing as Sarah's got Chris distracted. I'm looking over the rooftop, and I don't know anything about the rooftop. I don't think Sarah knows anything about the rooftop. I don't think Tern knows anything about the rooftop, although I'm about to find out. I think the only person who's physically here at this moment who knows anything about this rooftop is Chris. And so I would like to use one of my playbook moves. Yay!
Somebody else knows something about the rooftop. No, was it? Yeah.
Yeah, there were rumours that the rooftop's haunted. You're vaguely aware of.
Yeah, there's rumours the rooftop's haunted in the vague, collective unconsciousness, but the only people here, physically right now, are going to be Chris.
Okay. Yeah. So.
And so since the rooftop's going to be more about what Chris knows, most of the stuff here is going to be stuff that is important to him, and I want to use that to work out how to forge that link. As Sarah says, the name of the project, I'm focusing in on that, seeing what changes on the landscape, and seeing if anything resonates in a way that's that's cool, that's how we get there.
Okay. You're Miracle Harbour and you speak for the buildings. What do you want to roll?
Pretty much. Analyze, please.
Okay, analyze makes sense. We can call this controlled standard because the direct danger's passed.
Ooh, nice. Then I don't need to worry about doing it too much because I can reroll for risky if I fail this, can't I?
Yeah.
Cool. So let's just do a 1 die control standard for now. No pushing, no poison, no links needed for this one to start with.
Okay.
Actually, no. Yeah, I will push myself. I'll push myself. That's 2 stress, isn't it?
Yep, 2 stress.
It's kind of important to get this done, and we'll take our wins when we can get them. Good job, I did.
Why is Roll20 doing this to me? Yeah.
So it would be a standard a gather information check is what I was angling for here. You can say whether I did or not.
Yeah, we'll call this a gather information check.
Cool. That means I get a load of questions.
Yeah.
I think I get 2 questions and 1 follow-up, and because I'm using it with Things Field, I can ask from also the Guardian and Time Travel Playbook as well, if I want. Which,
Okay. Yeah.
makes things real weird.
Okay, ask your questions then.
Ask your stupid questions, I guess.
Yeah, ask your stupid questions about the stupid plot, which I'm trying to drip feed to. I'm not going to call you stupid.
Love you too, Brie. So from the Time Travel Playbook, I'm asking, what really happens here?
Okay. You sort of ask this to the building, and obviously it doesn't speak out loud because it's a building. But you got to get a sense for people who. Yeah, you get vibes back. You get a feeling for the people. Architecture is meant to be used by people. People build architecture. People use architecture, and you just sort of get the feeling of large groups of people. Chris is there. You the rest you definitely know Chris is there, and people are definitely sort of just meeting there.
Okay, but focusing on Chris, what's here, who has he met here that makes this important to him? We must be here for a reason. It can't just be because of connective tissue between the buildings. We want to go elsewhere. So why here? What is this? This is my follow-up. What about this place is very specific to Chris?
Okay. You ask this,
Or
and
yeah, or who is it he's meeting here that's really specific to him that makes this a place that's important to him.
okay, you ask this, and your attention's sort of drawn to the horizon that can be seen over the building. You realise this is the sort of tallest point in the entire sort of academic district. Like you can, obviously you can't see the entire city clearly. I mean, nowhere in the city's that tall, but you can get a pretty good view of most of it. And
Why have I
you
not come up
sort of
here?
realise, you sort of get the feeling the group is meeting to discuss some sort of agenda about the
Oh,
city.
that's why I've not come up here. Okay, conspiracy meets up here. Cool. Right. Okay. That I can lean on. That I can lean on a lot. Second question then.
Okay, so this is a question, not the
where-
follow-up.
Yes, the actual question. Yes.
Okay.
Where can I gain an edge from my own playbook?
Where can you gain an edge?
Like presumably, I like literally. Where is the very specific here? Like from here, like where now? Something here. Something here is going to lead us to him. Like directly to him, right? It's got to be.
Yep. You get these vibes back, and the building sort of makes you aware of the very spot where Chris was stood. Maybe not today. Maybe not earlier today. Maybe it was weeks ago. Maybe it was months ago. But you just sort of see the phantom of Chris staring across the horizon to a large building in the agricultural district, which you quickly recognise because, you know, this also sort of crosses over with your sort of interests. With basically it's the abandoned Memorial Mall. It's sort of called that jokingly because no one can actually remember who it was in memorial of. But yeah, you sort of realise this is where the project Chris is helping out with must be located, and that's where you need to be right now.
The Memorial Mall. We have to go to the Memorial Mall.
Oh my!
Sorry, the what mall?
The Memorial Mall. We have to get to the Memorial Mall.
I don't even.
The Memorial Mall. We have to go to. It's
Okay.
there. He meets here with the conspiracy, and he's working on something important at the Memorial Mall, the abandoned one. I know how to get there, and at this point, I'm assuming this rooftop's also got like skylights and stuff, like go down to the buildings, like go down to the building below, let some light in for the top
Yep.
floors. And because we're in dream landscape, everything's slightly reflective, mirrored surfaces. This skylight's translucent. I'm opening the window for it, and that's going to be the way we get off this rooftop and move somewhere else.
Yep, I'm going to say
as I function as our group's guide for the dream world.
Yeah, I'll say yep. You sort of intuitively put this together, so I'll say yep. You open the skylight, and you can just hop through, and you find yourself in the dream version of the Memorial Mall.
Like coming down the escalator from the car park. Like we go down like one of those diagonal looking skylights, and then it like does a bit of camera trickery, and we're just walking down the escalator.
Exactly. The escalator's no longer active.
Mm-hmm.
Presumably because, you know, a bit of a waste of electricity that could be used for UV lights and such.
So this place got constructed maybe 60 or 70 years ago. It was like one of the first ones for the city, first big shopping centres after the big war. And it was fully financed by that big big grocery chain. I can't remember the name. They went out of business a few years ago. But then everything moved to big box stores, and this place like fell apart. It was named after someone, but I think there was a lawsuit on arguing who it was meant to be named after. So eventually the name got removed. Anyway, here we are at the mall. Everything's closed. The place is falling apart, or should be falling apart.
Yeah. Well, what you see is like you have sort of seen. Well, all of you are. I'm gonna say, yeah, it's parts of it are open to the public. So you, at the very least, if you haven't been here yourselves, you have sort of seen it on the news or some such. It does look sort of like it looks kind of industrial nowadays, but it does clearly look sort of inhabited as various sort of former storefronts have been converted into, you know, containing rows and rows of sort of hydroponic farms. But at the same time, rather than sort of looking like this clean, sort of sterile sort of equipment, it looks more like an overgrown sort of jungle of vegetables with sort of, you know, string beans and various other sort of common fast-growing plants sort of creeping across the catwalks and walkways, and you sort of looking down, you see the entire lower level seems to have been flooded.
I like the idea of turning the unused space into community gardens and allotments. That's really quite based. Did I say based? I said based. No.
Sure did.
But it shouldn't. There's not enough sunlight here for it to work. The ground soil's going to be contaminated from like years and years of diesel runoff from the car park. It can't be healthy here. If that's what it is in real life, this might be, and this is where like Miracle's going to try and separate what's really here versus what Chris wants there to be here.
Okay, I mean, if anyone in their sort of group's been here or in real life, it's probably Miracle. So I'll say you do know it doesn't look like this in real life. Like the sort of lower level isn't flooded, and everything's a lot more tidy and pretty much what you'd expect a hydroponic farm to look like. So there's just sort of tanks everywhere. And
there actually is a plan or a project underway to try and do this at the mall itself.
Yeah. This is an actual sort of project
Cool.
you're aware of.
But it's a lot more controlled, like small scale thing rather than nature running wild over everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Right, got it.
Yeah, this is probably you sort of intuit this is definitely Chris's sort of vision of how things are at the moment.
Okay, that's what we can work with here. We're in Chris's mind now, or at least we can start tugging on his dream here. This is either what he wants or what he... I hope it's what he wants. I think we can work with that if it is.
Yeah. Tomorrow Jans sends a shiver down your spine, which you intuit means that they're basically saying all fears.
Okay. And yeah, at this point, it's going to lead the group down towards down towards the allotment level, where most of the stuff should be working on, towards the place where the thicket is thickest.
Okay. You're all walking towards this. Does anyone want to sort of do anything, or are you just heading there?
Do.
I suppose somebody should do another perceive to just kind of generally keep an eye out. So don't get.
Yes.
So hopefully don't get ambushed again.
Absolutely.
I think. Oh, what's up?
Is that Tern volunteering?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I
You
think
want?
I'm only on 2 stress, so I think I'll go ahead and push myself this time.
Okay, that'll be another. That'll be 2 stress. Roll perceive for an extra die.
Yep. We had to risky standard first.
Yep, risky standard. Sorry. Okay.
Nice.
That's a 5.
Right.
Success with complication. So, as you look around, you realise some of the sort of vegetation has been sort of hacked away at. Sort of like as if someone had just taken a machete out and sort of cut their way through. Like someone blazing a trail through a forest. But complication, as you approach this vegetation, it starts to sort of shiver. And as you look ahead, you see Chris stood there. He's got his arms folded and he's glaring at the 3 of you.
I think we found you.
Did I not tell you? We know. Simply accept the inevitable. And I'm gonna be, step up in front of the others, place myself between Chris and them. Just sort of very slowly, ominously approaching, and basically making myself the center of attention, while to give the other 2 a chance to work out what the angle of attack is.
Chris sort of tilts his head at you and smirks. I told you, you know shit. So you tell me. Why shouldn't I just turn you into fertilizer and be done?
Do it. Just while Emis Adeg's face is largely such a blend of mishmashed and affected features that it's, for all intents and purposes, melded into a featureless kind of flesh. There is still a mouth there, and when it grins in this way, in goading Chris into making us into fertilizer, it grins a grin that reaches too far with too many teeth.
Is this normal for your transcendent
For the
form?
avatar, yes.
Okay. There's no indication that you're in eclipse though from the others. Like nothing here is screaming unusual.
There's a point. It's the unsettling physical weirdness is normal for the avatar. What is abnormal is the direct confrontation. Because Carys isn't isn't typically sort of a red flag to a bull sort of characteristic. Is if Carys is being roadblocked with and with a charity thing they're trying to set up, Carys will find the regulations to say, no, actually I'm doing this. Like I've done my research, fam. Go away.
You deflect rather than confront.
Yes. Yeah, and this is very much I'm just Carys is standing in direct harm's way to buy you two time rather than trying to de-escalate and deflect by time.
That does sound like
Okay.
something that needs to be interrupted soon.
Okay, so you're trying to sort of directly sort of goad him. What do you want to roll for this?
Express again. I've got my agenda. The agenda is you focus on me while my friends do what my friends do.
Okay, that sounds good. Do you want to push yourself?
I forget how the Holdback Nightmare describes the bonus die.
Hang on. Because I have it open, so I can just go hold back. The nightmare. When you are transcended, any eclipse of all results of 4 or 5 counts as a 6 for you. When transcended and in eclipse, roll +1d on actions to frighten or upset others. So I'm trying to upset him, right?
Yeah, I guess sort of trying to provoke him is definitely a type of upsetting. You can have the extra die.
Yeah, +1 die.
Yeah.
And
And
I will
wait, does it
push myself,
say? Does it say 4 or 5 counts as 6?
That's on a specific kind of roll. Hang on.
That's for rolling for not eclipsing. That's
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So like if my stress was maxed out and I rolled more stress, a 4 or 5 would prevent me from eclipsing.
Yep. Okay, that makes sense.
I think that might have like been active when
we established that after the fact that I'd forgotten to do that. So thank you for keeping me on my toes with it. Because I
think you just lost the 50-50 shot anyway, even with it active.
Possibly, I don't recall that much. I do know I forgot a lot of abilities early on. Anyway, I'm gonna push myself as well.
Okay.
So I'll take the stress.
Take away 2 stress and
I am nearly max, and now I'm not. Now I'm just a little bit further away from that. It's fine. I really want to succeed at this because I need you guys to have the most chance possible to win.
Okay, what's your stress bar looking at now?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay,
In
as
that
in
case,
6.
does the +1 die from Link? Did that stack? If I spent that as well?
I believe it's either or.
Oh.
So you can spend a link or you can push yourself. Or rather, spending a link.
What do you want?
Spending a link will let you assist someone for free.
I can never remember what the other uses for the link.
Oh no! Helping people is a separate bonus. It's 1 dice for each action dot, +1 if you have assistance, +1 if an ally uses a link to help you, +1 if you push yourself or accept a poison promise.
Okay.
So assistance links and poison promises are poison or push are separate.
Link can also be used to let the other person resist the consequence for free, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did that with me earlier. So maybe I better keep it for that.
Sure. Okay. So, what was the roll, Brie?
Sorry, express you're using?
Yes.
Yep, and you have +1 from your ability and +1 from pushing yourself.
Risky standard?
Yep, risky standard, sorry.
That's what I was asking, yeah.
Yep. I've been up since 5.
It's all good. Transcendent, yes. Bonus die 1 from push myself. Submit.
All ones. Oof.
Oh, not all ones, but not good.
Okay. Oh, so you have
You
0
get 2
dots in
dice.
Express.
Yeah, do you not have a dot in Express?
I do, but why did it not?
Yeah, you should have had 3 dice then, shouldn't you?
You should have put 2 for bonus dice.
Oh, okay. I roll another one, I guess.
There we go.
Damn it.
There it is.
Okay, that's a success without any complications. Chris sneers at you. He opens his mouth in turn wider than he should, revealing a bunch of sharp teeth. I don't have any time for you. Wait, I don't have any time for you. Take a look around. It won't do you much good.
Do we see what he's referring to in with regard to that?
Yeah. He just sort of gestures broadly, but basically it looks like he's going to let you have the run of the place until he decides he's bored enough to attack.
No, I don't think so. I'm going to saddle over to Tern at this juncture. He wants us to mess around here. He's waiting for us to mess up. He's waiting for us to exhaust ourselves. Go make sure Carys is okay.
We should just be somewhere else.
No, I think we need to be here, and I think we need to hit him hard now.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Carys. Oh, sorry, go on.
I don't think he's expecting us to fight him here. I think he's bluffing here. Am I getting the read on him correct here? That he's using a lot of bravado to cover up the fact that he's he's waiting for us to slip up because we've caught him at this juncture.
Yeah, you can definitely tell Carys managed to scare him. So he's sort of taking a step back, hoping he can in fact,
Tern put the pressure on him. I'm going to work out what it is we can use here to throw him off, but he's on the back foot now, and I don't think everything's right with Carys right now. So cover them, please. And yeah, asking Tern, and I know Carys is about to do it anyway, but asking Tern to start the fight now. start whatever form of Persona style combat we're about to have here.
Yeah. By the way, I think it's pronounced Carys, not Carys.
Carys, right? Sorry, Emphys.
It's all good. I was more amused than anything else. Otherwise, I would have said something.
Okay, so let's see.
Okay, so Tern. You going to attack him? You going to follow him?
I'm thinking maybe just turn into a giant bird, pick him up, set him back on the roof or something. I don't know. That's the closest. Yeah, as close as I got to a plan, I guess.
Okay, so you've already sort of moved from that sort of dreamscape to his actual sort of dream, and moving him back away from here would be counterintuitive because what you're looking for is in his mind. So,
well, we think we've gotten to where he would be keeping stuff, in his mind, and just essentially keeping him from attacking us while we're messing about in here. Is that I think
No, he wants
I don't really
us
have
to
to read on
waste
anything
time
that's going on,
messing
to be perfectly honest. I don't really feel like I have much of a read on what's going on in general, to be honest.
You want to put the fear of God into the man.
Would it make more sense for Carys to attack now and Tern to jump in to defend, or?
Honestly, I was half expecting if this started to go sideways, I would just transcend and pick the both of you up and just try to go full extraction. But I don't really know what we're doing. This isn't like a combat game.
Well,
Basically,
no, because we... Go on, Vic.
Like,
yeah, basically in
like
his
walking in here-
sorry, you're basically in his dream to sort of work out what he's up to and confront him about it.
Carys's angle on that is to make him insecure in his approach. Like, he had a plan. He thought he was the mightier of us, and that's already caused him to hold back when previously all he's done is just been all attack, attack, attack.
Yeah, what you basically know about him is he is basically sort of like the conspiracy's muscle, or at least the part you've experienced so far.
So we've worked out his MO. We know how to slow him down from that MO. And now it's a matter of, what does the conspiracy have something on him? Are they keeping something from him to force him to obey? Or...
But the only way we're going to find that one out is if we effectively distract him enough, and since he's here to catch his breath at this moment, you two pushing the advantage against him, whilst I try to dig out whatever falls out of his subconscious as you're pounding against him, like either metaphorically or physically, literally. Like, whichever way this turns into a fight, be it metaphorically or physically. Like, I catch whatever falls out, you two cover each other for it.
Yeah, like I spent last session being chased around by a projection of this guy. I don't feel like he'd be any more scared of me than he is of Carys. So I almost feel like I might be more useful helping to look around for whatever it is that he's hiding here. I'm also
just going to point out like the Guardian, that you're playing the Guardian playbook at this juncture. Like,
yeah, like I'm conflicted.
Like, I've got this. Go make sure Carys is okay. That's what Miracle's saying to you.
I guess I'm just kind of backing up Carys then, but again, I don't feel like I'm going to add to this game. I don't know. I also don't like activating Transcendence without a clear idea of what I'm going to use it for. But like, I guess it lasts longer than I'm giving it credit for.
Basically, it lasts as you use it. So if you want to if you feel like this is the moment to use it, go ahead and you can start using it.
Yeah, I guess I'll at least go into my transcended form and just kind of lurk behind Carys as like an additional threat to be staring down Chris with.
Okay, so you're basically sort of backing up Carys.
Yeah.
Carys, as a sort of miracle and a turn of talk tactics briefly. You sort of remember from a few timelines, this is the point where Chris basically suddenly emerged from behind some vines or through the floor and just ambushed you anyway, but it looks like you've genuinely, in this sort of go around, you've genuinely intimidated him.
I'm going to start walking a slow circle around him. Just keeping up that eerie sort of
at this point he's
unsettling
basically
ominousness. Yeah, go on.
At this point he's sort of disappeared, so you can't actually see him.
Oh, goddamn.
Yeah,
I didn't catch that, so yeah.
He said his piece and sort of disappeared.
Right. Okay.
In that case, can I look around with my crow eyes and, in theory, perceive better than as a human as far as getting an idea of where he would attack from?
Yeah, you can do that if you want to sort of guess where he's gonna attack.
I have no idea if crows have particularly good eyes for birds. Presumably, being birds means that they have
Yeah,
good eyesight.
like you're not a lateral bird. You can just have like good eyesight because that's the thing some birds have.
+1 dice to that roll. I'm going to spend the other link for it.
Okay, what are you rolling?
Perceive, I guess.
Yep, perceive makes sense. Roll away. That's risky standard, and don't forget your bonus dice.
Alright. One.
Okay, a 5. So yeah, it sort of occurs to you because obviously you're in the fishing club. Sharks are basically ambush predators at the end of the day, and you sort of realise that's what he's doing. He's just sort of circling around, looking for a moment to burst out and attack. You realise you can basically preempt this by just sort of watching your 6 and generally not leaving these openings. And potentially you could use this as Carys already has to sort of trick him and force him to reveal himself, and then it's just a simple matter of wailing on him. Pun intended.
I think.
But for your
I have an idea
complication,
for. Sorry.
complication, you do sort of realise the ground's a bit shaky, and it looks like he's maybe not going to make an actual attack, but he is sort of gearing up for one. Because you've all spent a bit of time just sort of considering what to do.
Is that something that I can resist, or just kind of something that is a fact?
You could resist it, or you could throw another action roll at it.
I'm gonna kind of like resist it in the sense of making sure that there's ample warning. By okay, so I'm gonna lean into the storm part of the storm crow concept by having just kind of an actual storm cloud like manifest within under the wingspan of the bird, and a whole bunch of smaller semi-illusory crows just kind of fan out of the cloud and just kind of perch on a whole lot of nearby surfaces, such that there's pretty much nowhere that he can come out of where there won't be some disturbance and some warning. I get kind of like in Dead by Daylight. There's ravens sitting around all over the place. Where if a survivor is hanging around them, they'll start cawing and taking off and alerting and just kind of giving the secret away. So the idea is just kind of an early warning system in the form of a whole bunch of little crows.
Okay, so are you rolling something for this, or do you want to just turn it into resisting?
What do suns? I think I want to say this is resisting with sun because it's kind of like impending violence and it's an attempt to scare us.
If you're resisting, it's my choice which attributes you resist with is. If you want to roll yourself, you can choose your action.
I'll say it's resisting then.
Okay. But yeah, you're right. Sun sounds about right for this. It's a consequence of violence or fear. So yeah, roll Sun and deduct the result from 6 to see how much stress it costs you to make him back off.
Yep, and because of my indomitable ability, the most I can get is 2 regardless.
Ooh.
The most stress I can get from resisting will transcend it.
Okay, and 2 is exactly what you get.
Okay. Okay, got 3 left to work with.
Okay. As you sort of rush around, you realise some of the vegetation is sort of a bit clearer, and there's just the faint outline of a doorway behind it.
I point towards the doorway with a wing, kind of gesturing towards Miracle.
I mean, you can go through the door if you like, any of you.
Say again?
You can just go through the door. It's not like... I mean, there might be a keep outside.
Is this where, yeah, is this where Chris has vanished to, like through this door?
It's basically the sort of vegetation around it sort of is sort of torn, so it looks like someone's been that way.
But is it still part of the same dreamscape, or is it somewhere like deeper or weirder?
No, it's part of the sort of overgrown mall. Yeah.
Yeah, then I'm heading that way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So as you pull the door open, a few sort of stray vines sort of snap off it, and it creaks open. The sort of inside of this is clearly one of the sort of units from the original mall, but it looks sort of relatively untouched. And rather than any sort of plant life or a sort of equipment, it mostly seems to be some sort of office.
Weird aesthetic for Chris. Start rifling, I guess.
Okay. What do you want to roll to rifle?
Oh, I'm not being particularly subtle about this. Not particularly subtle at all. Yeah, seeing as this is like purely like an invasion into Chris's memory, I'm going to start like ripping through things, like not particularly carefully. If I start feeling any like pressure, I know that's exactly where I'm going. I'm being fairly aggressive with this process at the moment. So I'd like to roll Defy.
Okay, sounds good. I'll give you risky standard for that. Do you wanna push yourself?
Oh sure, yeah. Let's push myself. Unless there's a sample, fun little poison promise at my disposal here. Anyone got suggestions?
Ooh, I've got one.
Ooh, go on.
Basically, without being too specific, if you push you can have an extra die, but the sort of fallout from doing this will sort of set back your studies, which is to say the clock in your downtime project.
No, I refuse your poison promise, mean GM. I will simply take 2 stress instead.
Okay.
The psychic backlash just pushes the information out of your head.
Yeah, this is
Meanwhile, there are definitely a bunch of like little illusion crows perching on like, I don't know, like rusted shelves or benches or whatnot in the generally near that door, just to be absolutely sure that like if Shark Chris starts moving into there after Miracle, I'm gonna daggone know about it.
Okay, sounds good.
I'd be very surprised if you took the door, to be honest.
Let's roll my Defy with an extra dice.
Hey!
Yes!
6s. Okay, so you rummage
Hi,
through.
Bree.
Yeah. Okay, let me just pull up my notes.
Rummaging through filing cabinets, drop desks, loose leaves, post-it notes,
Okay.
conveniently unlocked computers.
Yeah. So basically, what you find out, and it doesn't quite make sense, but this is a dream, are basically reams of printer paper, quite old-fashioned looking printer paper, so like dot matrix printer paper, and it's just a series of emails between Chris and Braden. Basically, the gist of it is Braden and Chris are sort of arguing back and forth over. It's like it seems that Chris got, for want of a better word, got sucked into the manosphere a while back, it's sort of strained their friendship a bit, but which is why they don't know each other that well. You sort of get maybe the impression that Braden's sort of intention of trying to make you friends would maybe if he got to know few more people, he might mellow out a bit. But generally, you just got the strong impression that Chris is in this specifically because he can just sort of, he gets to be a thug. He gets to bully people. He gets to feel like he's in charge and all that. It's a depressingly simple motive.
Oh yes, but
But
Braden can punch through, like by the sound of it.
yeah,
It sounds like there's a tether there that can be strengthened up. Yes.
yep. And it also occurs to you that maybe even if obviously this is thinking long term, but maybe if you could just intimidate him enough, he'll stop, maybe treat you like the biggest threat and defer to you a little.
Or do I have to call him out at this juncture? Is this what I have to do?
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Yeah, so let's go. Let's get this printer paper. Let's get the nice things that that Braden has said to Chris that he holds dear, and I'm just going to read them out quite loudly and quite sincerely at this juncture. And just going to yell to the office. You're going to throw all that away? Is that what you're going to do here? Because he's not going to be there for you if you keep down this route of bullying everyone. And then you really will be alone, and it's going to really, really hurt. And you don't want that, do you?
I'm a big ass bird, Miracle. I can't fit in that tiny office to fly in there and pull you out when he comes to bite you.
Oh, I'm good here.
Yeah. Storm Carys.
Yeah, we're good.
I was banking on having that to do.
Storm Carys' head is just poked through the door right now.
Carys, as Miracle, whose name I didn't totally just forget, is saying things. Every once in a while, you hear the eerie, echoey voice of EnfysPranc say, "Such a shame, betraying your precious Braden. How hurt you must make him."
Be nice, we're going for nice here. I'm whispering under my breath.
Good cop, bad cop.
Okay. I guess Miracle or Carys. I'll let either of you roll.
I am going to forgive.
I am going to give you an extra dice by spending a link.
Yay, I'm just going to push myself.
You can do that too if you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So
Okay. Yep. That's going to be 2 stress for Miracle. An extra dice from Carys spending a link.
yeah. So
you're going to
what's my position
forgive.
here?
I'm gonna say.
I should probably ask that before I start burning stress here, but
Oh yeah, I'll say this is controlled because obviously you've got the dirt and you're. Well, not dirt, but you've got sort of an emotion there, and then you're trying to use it. And obviously he's not
control great.
openly attacking yet, so.
Control great by the sound of it, then.
Yeah, you're not fine. You can have controlled great for this.
I'll take risky great, but it does sound like I've got the dagger here. This juncture.
Yeah, you've sort of
Could I push for controlled extreme? No, control.
No.
What the hell?
You can push for it, but you won't guess it.
Fine.
Suddenly,
Not
it's a
fancy.
desperate roll.
Hey, experience points. Time to forgive. Why, game? Haha.
Wow!
There you go. There.
Unlucky.
Woo.
3 dice.
Whoop.
Yeah. Rude. Rude game. Oh well. Bad thing being, I
Okay.
guess he gets a free shot at me at this juncture.
Yep. Well, it's controlled because your role was controlled.
It's controlled, yeah.
Yeah. So the good news is. Well, the worst case scenario is you end up in a risky situation.
Mm-hmm.
So what
Yeah, it
happens
doesn't
here
work, but I can. Yeah, it doesn't work, or I can get riskier with this. It might not be something I can do from inside this office.
then? Yeah.
I'm going to have to literally stick my neck out on this one. Yes.
Yeah. Basically, sort of the room shakes a bit, and the desk sort of collapses, as if someone basically sort of hit it with something quite hard.
Yeet.
You see sort of a very hastily scribbled note in the sort of impact crater that's now in the desk. And it says, if you think you're so important to Braden, why don't you come find me? Basically,
It's not about who's important. I say, like walking out the room past like the Stormcrow, and out into the middle of like where I know he like the center of his dream should be, because I know this place now. I know him,
Yeah.
so I'm standing right in the center where he can get me. I guess is the important thing here.
I'm positioned right in between Carys and Miracle, getting ready to grab both of them in any moment.
It's not about who's most important here. That's not how this works. It's not a power ranking. It's not a high score table. It's not a zero-sum game. It's about genuinely caring for people. Me and Braden are going to fight until whenever, but doesn't stop us caring about each other. And you don't have to like see it as being me or him, me or you for this one. He has time for us both.
Okay, that sounds like it.
Be nice.
Okay,
Back
I'm
up,
gonna-
good cop, back up again. Because I don't know what key's rolling for this as of the moment.
Express.
But excellent.
okay. Express. So using words from an engendering mind, like you're not really sort of forgiving here. You're basically just trying to bring him round. That makes sense.
I'd like to again. I'm being a little bit antagonistic with it, but helping Miracle by utilizing stress.
Okay, that's one stress to assist. What you're what?
Yeah.
Well, obviously you're burning it
basic-
backwards. What are you on now?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And just echoing the things that we learned earlier about like control and stuff, just saying, but he's scared of you, don't you see? You have a hold on Brayden. You have something he doesn't, a trust. Because this is not a man who trusts. This is a man who can only bully, cannot talk, cannot think.
But he can learn. And all this is, it's a learning process, but it doesn't stay here by acts of aggression. It doesn't stay here by trying to control people. You've got to do some measure of trust, and you've got to come out from wherever it is you're hiding. You can't just hide away and lash out at people.
Is that
That's not how this
something?
works.
Is that something you can do, Chris? Can you prove me wrong?
Okay, so I'm going to call this risky standard. Obviously,
Yeah, you're
Carys
welcome.
has spent 1 stress, so you can have an extra dice.
Okie doke. Where's my... Oh, because I'm not in Roll20 yet. Risky, standard, not transcendent, 1 extra dice. I'm saving the rest of my stress for resistance roll afterwards, so let's go. There we go.
That's a lot better. That's a lot better.
Take
That was a
those.
lot better. Yeah, I take my consequences.
Okay. So, the good news is... So, we'll start with Carys, because you've been here before. You've seen Miracle get bitten in two for this. Miracle. The floor below you suddenly splashes upwards, and a large pair of shark jaws sort of slams around you. It knocks you to the floor.
I've got
You
3
realise-
stress left. I'm good for resisting this one. You're
There
still
you go.
able to resist
Can
other
I
people's
can I
consequences,
finish
right?
first, please?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It knocks you to the floor, but you realise, like, he could have just literally tried to bite you in two, but he seems to have held back slightly. So take a level 1 harm. Rattled.
I'll take that. Unless you want to resist here. Set 10.
I would love to. That's what I've been waiting to do, kind of.
Yep, there we go.
Okay, alright. So, are you spending a link to resist this, or are you going to just resist it normally?
I don't have
Have you
a
got any
link
links?
with. Yeah.
Okay. Yep, so
I'm
to
resisting-
resist... Sorry.
Sorry.
So mechanically, when you resist someone else's consequence, you basically take the consequence onto yourself, which you can do if you prefer. You can just take the harm, or you can just resist it. So I'm gonna say if you want to resist it, that's gonna be Sun.
Okay. Yeah, I'm resisting it. I'm banking on my indomitable thing to continue tanking resist rolls.
Okay.
Cool.
It's what it's there for, yeah. Rough.
Okay. Yep. So thanks to
Free
Indomitable.
stuff.
Yeah. Thanks to Indomitable, that's not going to be higher than 2.
Okay. I do only have the 1 stress left, so I literally have no more to spend.
Okay.
Good to know.
But I do believe that that is a complete defiance of a fate that Carys was seeing in the future, right?
Yeah,
That's
because
something-
this isn't one person sacrificing himself. This is us working as a team to save each other. But wouldn't we deal with that at the end of the session?
Oh yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
saying that this is something
I
that
have
might
been
pull you out of the
practice.
clips. Yeah, this is something that can pull you out. hopefully.
Question, Bree. In terms of how long Transcendence is lasting, for the countdown clock on that, does the way that I've been helping Miracle count?
That is a good
I
question.
think it's only when you do actions. I'm just going to read that up quickly.
Yeah, I think it's only when you make rolls under Transcendence.
Things that could give me a consequence.
So after that, it's going to look that up for you. So continue while I look it up.
It might be specific to
I mean,
action rolls. It might,
If
I don't know
it's
if it even...
if the answer is yes, then it's only 2 anyway, and it wouldn't have run out yet, so I'm still good. So that's been resisted. What's my impression? Right, so he didn't actively try to just straight up end Miracle there.
That's right. It was obvious to Miracle, and probably Carys and Tern could infer it, that he was basically he didn't want to sort of seriously hurt Miracle, but he's an aggressive sort, so he didn't want to just sort of even though he's opening to listening, he's glad to sort of actually get that blow in.
I started that slow circling that I mentioned earlier, only this time with long spindly fingers trailing like within a hair's width of Chris. When something is so close that it's not touching you, but you feel that very light tickle as it brushes like the small tiny hairs along your skin.
Okay, yep, you're not touching him.
Not touching you, not touching you. And I'm gonna say, hit a nerve, hurt some feeling. According
Making progress.
According to the fates that I have seen, this is when you lash out. This is when you bite. This is when you lose Braden. Can you defy it? Can you?
Okay.
Braden would believe in you.
What are you rolling, Carys?
Express.
Okay. That works. And do you want to push yourself?
Oh, do I wanna?
Maybe not.
I'm thinking about a poison promise.
Let's hear it.
I do have one more Carys link. Did I not use both of them?
I
No,
don't know,
I
did you? I haven't been keeping track of your links.
as I not to, I don't think.
Good news, by the way, it's only action rolls that reduce transcendence. Assists do not.
Hooray!
It is all action rolls though, so it includes
Yeah.
group checks. So if you're
I'm
doing
gonna be about all day as long as I don't do too many actions. I've only done one.
yeah,
so
you don't
far.
get to do much aside from like soak your armor. Is the major thing for if you're not rolling action rolls.
Yeah. Oh, I will tell you, by the
yeah,
way, because Miracle's already set this up, you will be in a control... You will have controlled grace effect, whatever you're rolling.
To get increased power against supernaturals. I'm also going to help out as well, regardless of whether you can have a poison promise. So I'm going to take 1 stress to give you the dot, because I'm also helping with this.
Okay.
Controlled.
And did you say you had a
Great.
poison promise in mind?
I was thinking about a potential poison promise. The thing that most comes to mind is the fact that Miracle is held by him at the moment, right? If I've understood this correctly.
It's more that he's sort of burst out, knocked Miracle to... Well, attempts to knock Miracle to the
okay,
floor.
then I don't know.
I was honestly kind of figuring I swooped over and just straight up picked Miracle.
Yeah, because you resisted the thing, I remember. Okay.
Yeah,
Anyway,
at the
I thought I
moment,
could set her down.
so
at the moment,
I'm gonna
he's sort of
push myself. I'll just push myself.
Okay. Oh yeah, just to make this clear, he's sort of popped out of the shark. You sort of realised he has an avatar the same as you do, and it sort of manifests by basically swallowing him.
Yeah, I figured that out earlier. It was very cool imagery. Okay, so bonus dice. That's 1 from pushing myself, 1 from Keith.
Yep. I spent my stress already for it.
Okay, so 2 bonus dice.
And was there one from Tern for links? Was there one left, or did we work out that was spent?
If you've already got 2 bonus dice going for you here, then maybe I should keep it back still longer.
But 4 dice.
3's a
Roll
lot.
4 dice. You get critical.
so much.
Okay, fine.
3 is so many
Yeah.
dice.
3 was so much, and I rolled
And I do not get the extra die from the series thing because I'm not trying to upset or instill fear or anything. So
Y'all keep accidentally not rolling all 3 dice at the same time. Try to roll them all at the same time.
I definitely only have 2 bonus dice here. So
2 bonus dice, yes.
Oh, that one. Okay, that forgive one was. Oh, that was a control.
okay, 5.
That's good.
Yep.
It's a good job. It's a good job I had that many dice because oh dear.
Yep. The dice hate us at the moment.
Okay. So, that's a success with a complication. But you're in a controlled position and great effect. So, basically the, his avatar sort of slides away completely. And he walks up to Carys and says, "Right. So what? Maybe Brain won't speak to me again." Do you really think I care? Do you really think I care?
Yes, you do.
Yeah. And he's getting up in your face. He's getting up in your face, question mark, Carys, but you can clearly see he's got tears in his eyes.
Is this where we have to give him a hug? Do we have to give him a hug?
No. Okay,
Carys rings. Yeah, I'll go on, Brie.
Okay, so consequence. You have seen this in several timelines. Like, he does not know how to process these emotions. And like, in most of the timelines, but not all, he no matter what anyone says, he does lash out.
Carys brings one hand up, places it under his chin. A little bit of pressure because Carys gained height when she transformed. Brings their faces real close to each other and says, "Be the change, or I make a different one." And as that sentence finishes, the finger stops being like pushing pressure, as it curls like inwards, and becomes more of a pointed pressure. Like this is and very much an implied threat.
Okay. Okay, as this happens, Carys, you sort of feel there's a maybe you're not sure there's a timeline where he just outright gives up without doing something unpleasant to you. But there is a timeline where you remember, you feel like there's at least one timeline where you're basically splattered with blood at the end of this. I'm going to say miracle or Tern. What would you like to roll?
How does armor work? Do we just have it for transcending?
Yep, we just have armor when we transcend. So if you want to go nope to something, you can use it.
I'm not sure what we're noping, but it sounds like we're noping something.
No, it's we've got something to try and like deliver the final bit here.
Yeah. Basically, the situation is either Carys is going to have to either tank a hit or she's going to have to kill this guy, Stephen. Unless, of course, either of you can either talk him down or talk her down.
I'm going to talk them both down. And just tell them both that, we're both better than this. All of us. We need to stop this. Can we talk this over?
Sorry.
Can we talk this over at coffee tomorrow? Like adults. Like people who care for each other.
Okay. Did you want to say something, Tern?
I keep feeling that Tern should be speaking up on account of he left the cult so he can use himself as evidence that it can be done. But at the same time, I have no idea how to articulate that effectively.
Well, you can just you could either assist Miracle or you could argue to make the roll yourself. Either roll. I mean, I think
Yeah. Do you want to take the roll for this one, Tern?
Maybe, I guess, with Express.
There is something to be said for being an example of the change that that Chris is being pushed towards.
Yeah. Express does explicitly have in its description they can be used to explain the meaning of friendship to someone, so it's perfect for this.
I guess I'm doing that then, but like I mentioned, I'm completely out of stress to spend.
I've got stress that I can spend to assist, so I'll spend 1 stress to assist.
Okay. That's 1 extra die. I'm going to say this is desperate standard because basically, even though the situation, it was a controlled situation before, but yeah, Carys has sort of escalated it.
Eclipse,
so,
baby.
Bad Carys, bad.
Yeah. So yeah, you can mark. So it's desperate, but I'm going to say it's going to have good effects. You can mark down experience. You've got 1 extra dice from Miracle Assisting. Anything else?
At this point, is there any possible potential of a poison promise? Although I'm not sure what there would be at this point.
Anyone got anything?
So I think with this actual confession of I've left the group, even though it's not going to come from Chris directly, that's now part of the dream consensus. So someone in the conspiracy is going to hear that and probably take offense at some juncture through the grapevine somehow.
Wait, he's left what group?
That Tern has officially properly cut ties with everything.
Yeah, that sounds like a good poison promise. So yeah, Tern, you can have an extra dice, but this will mean you've officially drawn a line in the sand. You've turned against the conspiracy and they know it.
Even if they're not going to scramble the watchdogs immediately for you, there's still going to be a case of your security clearance has definitely been revoked by this point.
I think I'm going to take that.
All right. That's another extra die then. That brings you to +2 die.
Okay.
You got
3
this.
dice. Come on.
You got this.
There we go.
Okay.
Right.
Yep. A 6 is a success with no complications.
And get your experience points in Sun.
Yep. Okay. So, Carys Chris is glares at you and says, "Hey, put me down. Coffee actually sounds kind of nice."
I take a step back, hands fall to my sides, and in a whirling flurry of the fabrics that make up the various outfits of the various Caryses, the form shrinks and the features coalesce back into the normal present day Carys, in her usual smart trousers, blazer, hair tightly pulled back, ponytail.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Chris is obviously now about a head taller than you, but he seems to be giving you a sort of a healthy amount of respect here, and you aren't really sure what to make of this because, in every other, you've never seen this happen before. Like every other reality, he either attacked you or
Usually
you attacked him.
one of us is dead.
Usually one of you's done something you regret.
Yes.
So he takes a step back from you and turns around to Miracle and says, promise me one thing. We leave
What?
Braden out of this from now on.
Sure. 100%.
So, coffee?
Yeah, there's the coffee place that's like just outside this mall still there. You could maybe show us around the hydroponics that you've been working on, like the actual ones, not these ones. Lots to untangle here.
Yeah.
Quite literally.
Yeah, maybe I've been letting them creep up on me.
Well, coffee tomorrow, and we can talk about how I make everything better, right? Yeah.
Right. Okay. And we can flash cut to the following morning. You all making this appointment?
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
Friendship won.
This is suddenly an avenue into maybe finding out something about Uncle Jack.
Okay. So, yep. You show up at this small. It's kind of interesting because most of the equipment's been pulled from a sort of the remains of the cafe, but it's more like sort of an outside pop-up sort of thing in a tent, because the actual sort of structure has been sort of taken over as an administrative office. But the sun's shining and Chris is there. He's
I think this.
yeah, he's just sort of wearing overalls. There's some bags under his eyes, but you mean the reason for that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Not the most restful of nights, no.
yeah, he flags you down and just sort of pours out a large container of coffee. So
I think that's a good place to have it as a background scene, unless you've got something you want to reveal to us here.
yeah, I will say, Carys, as you're sort of doing this, you do see Uncle Jack. He looks at you briefly, surprised, and walks off.
I give him a wave and a sort of a half smile, like I'm not, like, really awkward sort of one, you know?
Yeah, he sort of enthusiastically waves back, but you get the feeling he's kind of surprised to see you here, and not necessarily in a good way.
Remember what you told me, Carys. You have to switch up occasionally.
Carys sighs, and you see her shoulders slump, and just right on the edge of you, right on the edge of your hearing, you hear, "Don't use my fucking logic against me."
Hug. Hope that snaps you out of a clips.
Yeah.
We're gonna find out.
Yeah, I will say that the fact you saw both your sort of comrades actually manage to talk Chris down is enough to pull you out of Eclipse, if you think that's acceptable for your character.
I mean, this is the first time that we have well and truly worked together well as a team. So I think that would do it, yeah.
Yeah. And as an added bonus, you realise this isn't one of the timelines where you're wearing a chicken hat this morning.
Oh my god, that is so Men in Black 3 of you.
I have not seen Men in Black 3, but I'm happy I made an accidental reference.
Not necessarily the chicken hat, but the I'm glad it wasn't this one sort of thing of a random happenstance.
Yeah. It's what TV tropes would call a noodle instant.
Yes.
But yep. we're going to sort of montage over this. But Chris sort of turns to you and says, Miracle specifically, and says, I'll tell you one thing. You aren't going to like what I've got to say.
Listen, what was going on between you and Braden? It's about the conspiracy. Right.
You want?
About them.
You want?
About that, yes. I think Miracle refers to them as them.
Well, you want to know how we got mixed up in this? He looks a little smug.
I guess I'm gonna find out.
That mentor of yours recruited us.
Well,
and that's where we're going to leave it.
Da da da.
dun, dun, dun.
And before you ask,
Yay!
Keith, yes, he is talking about Welkin.
Of course he is.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the mission over.
We got a load of dice to roll still.
Yep.
Yep.
So let's see Fallout. Just to see how what the consequences of this is. So the adversary track.
Bring that open quickly. Yeah, we're currently midway through tier 1.
Yeah, so during Fallout, the adversary track advances by one segment, plus one additional segment for each of the following that occur during the mission. The adversary's agenda moved forward.
No.
I'll say it didn't. In fact, you kind of came out on top here. Someone fell into Eclipse or was killed by or defected to the adversary. Nope, that didn't happen.
No.
The protagonists come closer to their destiny as established in the series creation. What's your destiny again?
Let me just open it quickly. Destiny. Scrolling down through all these lists.
I believe that was things remaining a very status quo sort of thing, right? That
Yeah.
Our destiny is either that people are able to move, like all the people are able to think forward, aspire to different things, be able to share ideas and no longer isolate themselves. Ironically, yes, we have.
Yep.
Our good destiny, we've moved forward. Our bad destiny, we haven't. But yes, our good one, yes, we've actually genuinely made genuine progress here.
Yep, you've succeeded, so they're not going to like that. So that's going to be 2 slices on the adversary track.
+1 because of the conspiracy, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Because we haven't identified every. Is it? Wrong sheet. So many sheets.
Too many sheets.
To do Fallout results are to do 1 level worse. Noisy. Lots of paper folding. No, it's just Fallout results are 1 level worse. It's not Fallout goes up by 1, so it's fine.
Yeah. Okay. So yep. I don't think the adversary track's full yet.
Nope. Just go by 2, is it?
Yep, just by 2.
Then we're at 5 out of 6. All right.
Yep. So Fallout roll.
Let's roll.
What tier? Yeah.
Tier 2. Yeah. We're at tier 1, but we were at tier 2.
Yeah, that's right. Because it. Wait, is
Because
that right?
because we've got the Fallout results are 1 level worse until all propagators are. Oh, that's level, not tier. Where's tier and level? No, all our results are 1 level back on the chart. So yes, we roll at tier 1.
Yeah. So yep, roll Anyone want to roll or?
I'll roll it. 1 moment. It's just 1 dice, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, because it's tier 1.
I'm just trying to find where our actual Fallout results are. Yeah, here we are. Is there a button for Fallout roll?
I don't believe so.
No, there is not, unless it's on the character sheet. Alright, fortune roll. 1 dice, fortune roll. Oh, well, it's the worst one anyway.
Lee Mao.
Oop. Yep, tier 1, 1 to 3. An agent of the conspiracy acts.
Fun.
Okay, so we're just going to end with the camera panning back and Uncle Jack's making a call. Sorry,
No.
Carys.
Go Jack, why you do this?
Why
Okay.
indeed?
Oh yeah. Before we go, let's end on a high note. Do you want to do XP off stream or on stream?
On
Anybody
stream.
remember whether we did
we could
on or off
smash
stream
it out,
last
yeah.
time? I want to say it was off.
Okay.
It might be like so. We still actually got experience to spend for the crew, for the series already that we haven't agreed on what we were buying yet because that's still like at full.
Oh yeah,
I
that's true.
completely and utterly forgot about that.
Yeah,
which
so
one?
we have to choose our shared group abilities
Okay.
on the protagonist sheet.
Yeah,
We got one.
I've just
We got
pulled
the
it up.
Carys, sir.
Yeah, no,
then it should-
didn't
yeah.
we?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that should be 0. Okay, fine.
Keith,
Cool.
why you
Oh, yeah.
lying? You like
Oh yeah.
us.
By the way, also remember the investigation track drops to half. Its current value rounding up.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm doing now. So it was at 12, so it goes down to 6. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, we got Carys here. That's why I have that's why I have 2 total more action dots than I did last session.
Right, I haven't taken my curious point, I don't think. Okay.
Oh, that's why I've got one in Express. I thought my numbers weren't adding up.
There we go. Alright, that makes sense then. Or did I take one in Express? I might have taken one in Forgive, actually. Alright. Okay, cool. Alright. Yes. Shall we do experience? My bad.
XP.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shall we start with Series XP or?
Let's do Series XP to start with.
Yeah, I've got that up already. Yeah.
Okay. Read it.
At the end of each session, you go for it, Enfys.
No, you started. Go. Do the thing.
At the end of each session, for each item below, mark 1 experience point or 2 experience points if the item occurred multiple times. Successfully carried out a mission from the series list. We did.
Yep.
Hooray, well,
Confront
XP.
an known conspirator. Oh yeah, and you've now confirmed. Well, you've now confronted the propagator, I believe Chris was.
Yep. I mean, it doesn't matter too much. It doesn't matter about confronting propagators. It's identifying propagators and followers. We have to confront overseers. That's where we get real, like,
Yes.
input. That's where we get the real bonuses from. We just have to identify the propagators and followers. But it helps. It certainly helps because then that knocks out one more of their propagators.
Oh right.
Delving
Yeah, that
conspir-
reminds.
Yeah.
That reminds me.
Sorry. Yeah.
You've identified Welkin as the overseer for acquisitions.
Then that's going
Sorry.
to be fun.
Wow.
Sorry, I should have said that right.
Yeah.
Okay. Delve into the conspiracy's maze and give solace to dreamers.
Yeah. We did that. Definitely did that.
Yeah, you gave Chris some sort of solace. You can have an XP.
Which flows directly into explore the inner world of suspects and face their demons. Yes, we did that.
Explicitly that, yes.
Yeah.
Can
I'm
we
pretty sure.
argue 2 here as we
Yeah.
fought a literal giant shark and also confronted someone's deep emotional state?
Yeah. Although I would argue that Carys is probably one of Chris's demons by now.
I live for it.
Yeah. And express the essential
Wait for us.
nature, origin, or destiny of the group. Yes, we did that.
Yep. moving beyond the mire that we're stuck in. Yeah.
Okay.
We're at 5. We started at 0. We're at 5.
Nice.
Please try to remember to select your advance by the next session.
That's.
I mean,
yeah, we
to
don't.
be
We don't,
fair,
we don't have an advance for that one. We're fine.
Yeah. we didn't quite get 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't get the honor code thing either, I don't think, because Miracle had to punch a shark.
I booped it on the nose. I booped the shark on the snoot. I don't know what your honor thing is. Sorry.
Yeah.
We
We'll
need
get
to
to that
have
when
that as a
we
list.
do turns at XP. Speaking of,
Shall we start with turns?
he wants to go for. Yeah, we'll start with turns. So yeah, turn. Your code of honor is basically a special ability of your playbook, isn't it? The Guardian.
Yeah, but it works both for my playbook and for the series playbook, but we only get series XP if the whole group follows every part of it.
Uh-huh.
All right. Yeah. What's your code of honor again?
No violence, no admitting fault, and no asking for help.
Okay. Did you would you say you followed it?
Did I do any? Okay, I think I followed it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you didn't do any violence. You just sort of kept an eye out, and I see. I just sort of don't even think about it. Hit the shark. So yeah. You didn't admit weakness. What's the other one?
Admitting fault or asking for help.
Yep, I don't think you did any of those, so you can mark XP.
Right.
Okay, and your actual XP triggers then?
Address the challenge with kindness or self-sacrifice. I'm not actually sure that I did this time.
I mean, I'd say the group as a whole did, but I don't think you did specifically, so I'll let you have 1 XP for that.
Okay. Express beliefs, drives, role, or background. Sort of at the way end, I express my role as the I forget what the book calls it. The turncoat from the conspiracy, reformed conspirator. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, the fact you used to be part of the conspiracy sort of ended up being important. Like, I think you took the pause and promise that they know you for sort of turncoat, so that's definitely, yeah, yeah, that sounds like 2 XP to me.
Yep, it was a bit of a hard bargain, but I play way too conservatively in these things. Like, I've been playing Frost for God knows how long, and the guy still doesn't have any trauma. And it's like, I feel like maybe I hold back like a little bit too much, a little bit too often.
As the classic bit of advice goes, play your character like a stolen car.
I get too stuck in my head with, but I want to have this car tomorrow too, or something.
Get a new car.
Embodied your eclipse or displayed the contents of your heart.
Okay, so the eclipse for your playbook is basically getting frustrated that your examples are not enough and enforcing your code in a uncompromising way.
Yeah, I don't think I really did either of that, to be honest. And I don't feel like I expressed the Stormcrow's drives much either, as far as like the agency and escape. But well, I tried to pull. I pulled Miracle out of danger that one time, but I don't know if that really. I don't know. Like I did kind of spend the entire thing with the like half of like I spent the entire confrontation with a metaphorical finger hovering over the escape button to just grab everybody and fly out of there.
Yeah. Okay, I'll call that 1 XP then. Just sort of, abort operation. We're all getting out of here. Does sort of feel like being overprotective.
Yeah, almost sort of a compromise, I guess, between Tern's instincts and Stormcrow's instincts. Where it's like protection, but also escape.
I like that. Okay,
Anyway,
I think
that's,
that's
Yep, there's 4 altogether.
okay. Who wants to go next?
Yeah, I'll go next.
All right.
Okay, question the first. You addressed a challenge with foresight or revelation. I mean, immediately out the bat with the flashback.
Yep. You are observing all the timelines here. 2 XP.
Yeah. Okay. You expressed your beliefs, drives, role, or background. I think that was pretty much largely how I was goading Chris, to be honest. Like, we both know how this is gonna end. You're gonna be a prick. You can't help it. It's your fate.
Yep, that makes sense. Yeah, 2 XP for that.
Also, yeah, I was going to argue drives with the downtime as well. Sort of everybody lives. You struggled with issues from your promises or obligation. Promises, maybe. Being concerned that I was not going to be able to keep somebody from doing something stupid and solo.
Yeah, I'll say you can have an XP for that.
Yeah, I was expecting 1 at most. You embodied your eclipse or displayed the contents of your heart.
2, no notes.
Like, only the entire
Awesome.
session. I'm 1 XP off maxing the bar rate for that. God damn it.
Well, there's always next session.
Yep.
Okay, I guess that leaves Miracle.
Sure. Challenge with knowledge or subtlety. Sorry, just choking on everything there. Yeah, I think multiple times, like knowledge and subtlety.
Yeah, the way figuring out the way to where Chris was, and digging into his emotional, how to fix him emotionally.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that sounds like 2 XP to me.
it does. My beliefs, drives, roles, or background. Me as the Oracle of the Dream, acting as the group's guide through the collective subconscious. Certainly it qualifies there, which is my role. As for everything else, I think my beliefs show up quite well here.
Yep, you can have 2 XP for that.
Issues for my promises or obligation. Let's just double check my promises quickly. Definitely trying to pull Tern out of the conspiracy one way or another. That's kind of come up, but I don't think I had a direct input on it. As for Carys's, trying to do everything in Miracle's power to stop you from doing anything to jump between timelines. I think that's partially here. Certainly, you were making all our roles much more complicated. And me having to jump in to help you out for that, I think, comes as part of that. Does that count, Brie?
Yeah, you can have an XP for that.
Yay! And did I display the contents of my heart? Yeah, I think so. Seeing as Chris had a lot of issues directly with me, and I had to confront my personal feelings with Braden as a result of that. which is still murky and weird, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, you sort of reached out and tried to help him. So yeah, you can have 2 XP.
I'm one short. I almost filled up an entire bar in one session. I'm one short. Oh well, cool.
I'd like to pretend I actually planned that, but I'm not keeping track of everyone's XP for them.
I've been a good player and deserve an experience point, right? Right.
Wait, does this? No, I don't think roleplay XP is a thing in this. I mean, it is a thing in this, but it has explicit rules for it.
Yes, exactly. That's what all these
Literally
triggers
what we
are.
just went through, yeah.
It's nothing but roleplay XP, but unfortunately, it does specify when you get it.
Do I get experience points for being the best GM aside from you?
No, because there are several other GMs, several tiers above me, and you know it.
Fine.
And that wasn't self-defamation. I just know a lot of really good GMs. So there.
There are so many good GMs in our server.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's me done.
All right.
I'd contest it properly, but it's 20 past 11, so I haven't got time.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the session then.
Hooray!
Anyone want to plug anything while I switch this over to the There we go. Shut the music off. Cool.
Sure, I'll plug. Why not? I'm getting better at it these days. Tomorrow is Saturday. I was going to set up a peanuts thing, but my connection decided to shit the bed yesterday and threw me into a big anxiety attack, so I didn't bother. So watch out for me tomorrow night. I'll be co-oping with somebody, hopefully. If not, I'll start a solo thing. Every other Sunday, watch out for me and Bree playing Baldur's Gate 3. This Sunday is a Pathfinder thing, so we won't be there. It'll be next Sunday. And at some point, I'm going to start doing something in the middle of the week.
Neat.
Heck yeah. Keith, nervous?
Keith. Hi, I'm Keith. Next Thursday, it's Lancer, Cam Delta, split up. Last session we had Bree, Nick, and Icky on a fun planet full of teleporting robots made out of detritus that seem to be collected together by a unexplainable pseudo-magnetic phenomena. However, the next group is going to have something far more conventional. A siege blockade to try and punch through.
Oh, yes!
Yeah, you're all going to the ice planet, being surrounded by an army's worth of siege against a holdout Harrison Armory SSC base. Yeah. So expect violence as the 5 remaining members of Cam Delta on that side of the solar system do chaos, I guess, seeing who's in the party, that being Pixel and Hanan and Al and Ben and who? Who? And who?
Wait, who's Enfys?
Who's Enfys? Sounds like someone who's going to explode next session.
I'm not going to explode. I've got 14 heat cap, thank you very much.
Sounds like someone's going to explode next session.
Like you
depending and like depending on whether and depending on what Enfys arranges tomorrow, possibly appearing on their channel, depending. We'll see. I'm assuming Enfys has things in mind. Also, Enfys, at some point you said you want to play Final Fantasy 14. Get to it.
That might be my middle of the week thing.
Ooh, cool. Nonus.
Yeah, I have a Twitch that I don't use but could someday, and a YouTube that I don't use much but could someday, and Blue Sky, which I use sometimes, and I'm on Tumblr, which I actually do use, kind of. The username is NoahSpan on all of those.
All right. Great bunch of people. Everyone should follow them. That wasn't a suggestion.
It was an order from the GM.
Yeah, follow them or I'll have to kill
Roll
off their
for
characters.
intimidation.
Yeah, Another Yam seems to be streaming tabletop RPGs, so guess I'll give them a raid. It seems apropos.
I didn't know Nether Yam did TCRPG.
I'll be honest, neither did I, but I guess we're about to learn.
Hi, everybody.
Hi. For my part, I'll be back on Monday with my usual Chrono Trigger stream. I'll have ears for my Tiefling cosplay, so look forward to that. Yes.
Tiefling hype!
Yeah. And yeah. I hope everyone has a lovely weekend. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to Nick for the raid. And congratulations on... I think you raised quite a bit for Not a Face, so that's amazing. I'm going to catch the VOD for the stream as well, for the parts I didn't get to watch, because there's a bunch of very cool people talking about very interesting stuff. And yeah, I need sleep. Raiding in 3, 2, 1. Everyone say bye.
Bye.
Bye! Like and subscribe.
Yeah. That's the raid gone through. Anyone want to say anything for the YouTube VOD?
Like, subscribe, hit the bell.
Be awesome people.
Hammer time.
Okay.